All right. We do it live. No prep.
Extra prep.
Now back to the second annual Star Wars podcast.
What happened? What happened to the first annual?
we just did that. That was the last one. We just didn't talk about it. It's a. We'll edit it in. We'll do that. We'll go back and we'll pretend that we said it. We'll just put it. And welcome to the first annual. Put like Microsoft Sam. Just like put that shit over the top. Nah, but
Yeah.
fucking hey, dude, this movie's awesome. Let's get into this shit. Where you want to start? All my notes are
Uh,
chronological, and I got a fuck ton of them.
let's just start wherever you feel like jumping in.
I always start from the beginning. That's the best way to do it. Because starting from like 5 seconds into the movie, the intro is still fucking awesome, bro. When that shit cuts, I was like, oh my god, that shit is so good. It's exciting as fuck. Kind of gets you hooked immediately.
Hmm.
Um, which speaking of, I guess I'll bounce around because some things are easier to bounce. Is the fucking music score? I'm like
Hmm.
the last person to ever notice anything like that, unless obviously like a
Yeah.
track really sticks out. But holy shit, dude! Throughout the entire movie, whoever the fuck did the music needs a raise. Like
Yeah.
that shit was amazing. Cause it always just somehow matched the themes and like just it was perfect, kind of all throughout.
Hmm.
The biggest one being there was two biggest ones. There was one I can't remember what happened. It was in the middle of the movie, somewhere around the theme or whatever was in the background was going hard and just cut because whatever happened in the scene just abruptly changed. So the music followed suit and cut abruptly. I was like, hey, that's kind of cheesy, but I like it. Um, and the very end, that was when I really took me back, and I was like, oh shit, the music's always been good. Was at the very end when it's like a happy ending,
Hmm.
and all the music sounded like fucked up or bad or sad or melancholy. Because it starts
Yeah.
off and like there's like, yeah, we got our clone army, we can fight back against the bad guys, and like the fucking Sith music starts playing, and I was like, wait, something don't feel right. And then they had a bunch of red, like dark red colors in the background, almost like a sunset, and like different kind of shit going on. I was like, man, they really laid it on here. Like, holy shit. And then immediately after, they went to their wedding, and like the fucking theme was just not good. It was almost like, hey, it's kind of happy, but like with this weird undertone of like melancholy or something's
Melancholy.
wrong.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, man. That was when I really noticed. I was like, man, whoever the fuck did the music needs a raise on this one. um, so that was the first, I guess, tangent.
Yeah. Really good. Like, what is it called? Where it's like it's a riff? No, not a riff. Yeah. Of like a different theme. Like they alter just slightly.
Right.
Uh, yeah. They did the Empire theme whenever they had the clones. Uh,
Right, and it's such a sad, like, weird thing because if you like, I think because this is the kind of stuff that subconsciously most viewers may not notice, but while you're watching it, you're like, yeah, this is good. But then you hear that tone, and then subconsciously your brain tells you there's something wrong, but you may not be able to understand what it is, especially if you haven't, put the pieces together or whatever.
Mhm.
So it's like that shit's pretty good. Excuse me. Oh fuck. Let's see what we got here. It's like a fucking. It almost is like a grocery list the way we're going through it. But usually it's like you gotta somehow get the ball rolling, and then the tangents start. But I have a question here because you're a smart guy. You know shit. Um, what the fuck is the Republic like, and what does leaving it mean? Because this is in the beginning of the movie. They're just like, oh, they're gonna leave the Republic. Is it like the UN or
So
something?
the Republic is more like how the United States was pre-Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
If you understand what that means.
Yeah, yeah. Like, so they're all
So
like
United
independent little states, but they're all kind of
Yeah.
working for each other, working together, kind of thing. But there's
So
not like a real
it's
global.
kind of not like, oh yeah, we are kind of one nation, sort of.
Right.
But yeah. But we have our own laws and shit in our own countries, like how we do or how our own planets and however we do our things. But
Right.
not really. But so yeah, whenever they're seceding essentially, whenever they're like, I'm leaving the Republic.
Okay. So, and I guess I wonder too if the Jedi were sort of the Republic peacekeeper slash strike force. Then did they have militaries? Each individual thing? Because I guess
Yeah,
because the
each
Federation
country,
had.
each planet had its own military. Naboo had its own military, had its own they were fighting Well, the Gungans had their own military, but yeah,
That's
the
true. Yeah.
I forgot her name. Queen Amidala had her own uh stuff,
Right.
or
No, that makes
units or
sense.
whatever. Yeah.
I gotta take this little note out because they did eventually explain it a little bit better. But in the first like 10 minutes of the movie, they talk about these separatists and shit, and I was like, who the fuck? What is a separatist? And where the fuck did they come from? But then by the middle, they actually were like, oh yeah, people are leaving, and then while they're leaving, fucking people in the dark background made a chance to kind of make a new organization. Hey, come help us. We have military strength, kind of thing. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes some sense. But there was that, and then in the beginning, if you watch the subtitles, they mentioned they mentioned Dooku already, but then I think it
Yeah.
was like mysterious voice or something when he was first speaking.
Yeah.
I was like, what do you mean mysterious voice? They already said his name in like the first couple minutes because yeah, they're like in the intro scene, like where you read the text, it was like in the mysterious Count Dooku is doing all this shit. So that was kind of a little funny. Oh, speaking of subtitles, fuck this movie. They stopped translating the Huttonese. I don't know why they did that.
I don't know if they did translate the Hutties. I wasn't really paying attention because I don't read subtitles that much.
Oh yeah,
Um,
there was a lot of them they didn't translate. I think I seen at one point they did, and it was just only certain scenes. Like in the first, like
Another generation, they never translated either.
yeah,
Uh,
they didn't. It's
so
just like they let it go, and then I was like, why? Why not? I liked that. That was really fucking awesome. So I wonder what changed from the first to second to have that shift.
mhm.
Um, what I really oh dude, speaking of, in the very beginning, when that fucker gets off the plane, wow, I guess I was wrong. There was no danger at all. That shit was fucking hilarious. Like, can you just ask
Yeah,
to be
whenever before
blown
it gets
up?
blown up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
can you ask nicely to be blown up?
that was funny.
I thought that was good. I don't know if they did that on purpose, and this is one of those ones you're not sure if it was like satire or not. But I
I
really
think
hope
so.
it wasn't, or I hope it was, because that shit
I
was
think it was
fucking
on purpose.
hilarious.
It was supposed to be funny.
Um, but yeah, no, let's see. I'm gonna go through because we're gonna get somewhere, and it's gonna tangent off. So we're gonna continue down this shit because there was some cool fucking things in this movie. And a lot of it is the details, and that's why I think I have so many notes here. Is there were so many little things that are just fucking cool when you just take a second.
There was a lot. I would say one thing I'll say on this rewatch. There's a lot of cool things that happened and cool lines, but then there was a lot of really shitty dialogue,
Like what?
and I can't think of any off the top of my head right now. And just some bad writing. Uh,
If it's anything Anakin or Padme, we'll get there. But I like all of
uh,
theirs. I like all of their
no, I
dialogue.
remember we were watching, and Anakin's mission is to protect Padme, right? That's his mission.
Yeah.
Protect Senator Amidala, and uh, at some point when she falls off the what's it called, um, the clone plane thing, whatever it's
Oh yeah, yeah,
called.
yeah, yeah. Towards
Yeah,
the
she
end.
falls off of it, and he says, "Slow it down, I gotta go get her." And then like Obi-Wan's like, "Mind your feeling, Anakin." He's like, "What?" He's like, obey the council" or something like that. And he's like, "But his mission was literally to protect Senator Amidala. You got mad at him for coming here."
That is true. Were they given new orders at that point?
No, not to my not that I could recall.
I see.
They threw lightsabers at him and they joined the fight, but no one had ever like walked up to Anakin and said, "Hey, your mission's no longer to go fight and no longer to protect the senator. Now your mission is to do this."
Right, right. Okay, that's kind of funny. I like it though, and this is why I also like it because anything like there's so much in this movie that's so believable. It's so like human. And again, I think it may be. I'm not gonna actually say this, I guess, because I normally give credit where credit isn't due. It's probably bad writing, but I don't see it that way because I love how realistic it would have been. Because Obi-Wan didn't have any orders to go kill Count Dooku, but he knew that was like a big
Yeah,
deal.
killing him is the main. Yeah, yeah.
Like he
If
knew
we
that was
kill
gonna
him,
like stop the war.
we'll stop everything. Yeah.
So it's like, and he knew he couldn't do it alone. So like, in that point, that predecedes or whatever the fuck predecessor, and that takes trumps over
That
all.
proceeds. That
Yeah,
proceeds.
that
Yeah.
takes over everything. And English is fucking hard, dude.
Uh,
So like, I think I like that line because it's like, no, you need to do this. It's like no one ever told us to do that. You're making that shit up. It's like, but that is kind of how people would act in that situation, which would cause conflict because a lot of us will say and do things that we think but aren't really, true. Does it make sense?
yeah, but it makes it look like, oh yeah, Anakin's just, oh, he's being an idiot. Look at him. He's like, no, he's doing what his fucking mission was.
No,
He's
no,
like,
no.
oh,
We know
Anakin's just
damn well
following his
he
emotions.
was
No,
not.
his mission.
Go ahead.
I think they're like, oh, the way it was presented in the scene is like, look at Anakin. He's trying to save Padme because of his emotions. No, that was his mission.
Nah, that was all
God.
because of his emotions. Don't you dare.
I mean, yeah, but that was also his mission. Like, you go pretend like that wasn't his fucking mission. That wasn't what Obi-Wan was chewing him out for earlier.
No, no, no. I'm not saying that's wrong. I actually like that, and I like a lot of their interactions. Because and this goes back to even the beginning of the film, is that if you look at their interactions, like Obi-Wan does shit or says shit or maybe has a history of things that he will blatantly tell Anakin not to do or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's done
Or
it a few times.
he'll let Anakin do something, but tell him it's wrong, and then when it
Yeah,
works out, say it's okay.
yeah,
So there's a lot of evidence to support that as well, and I think that's also why I like their relationship a lot. Is the fact that their dialogue makes sense in that way, because he doesn't. I'm not saying he doesn't respect Anakin, but he almost always sees his faults, so he
yeah,
jumps to those. And he already
yeah.
knew. Like, think about it. Obi-Wan has known him for fucking ever since he was a young
10
boy.
years. 10
He
years.
knows what he's gonna act like. I mean, I
Yeah,
imagine he's seen this a dozen times before.
yeah,
So when his immediate reaction is no, fuck Dooku, he's not important. I have to go after my girlfriend. Like, yeah, I 100% see why he would react that way, in pretty much incognizant of whatever the fuck their actual orders were,
yeah,
because he technically wasn't wrong, or no, he technically was wrong, but I don't know, superficially wasn't wrong. Whatever, however you want to slice that, whichever side you're on. But I think he was a mixture of both in that case, and that's why I think the dialogue was really good. Because even if Anakin were to try and defend himself, no, I'm doing it because it's my mission, right? If he were to say that,
yeah,
it's on his face. No, it's not. Like,
yeah. True, but
that's why
it
it's
was.
good.
At the end of the day, it still was his mission.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. But that's why I say I like that scene, because neither one of them was right.
Well, I was talking about the way it was written was not written in the way that you're saying it is. It's more. It was literally like, look at him, his emotions. It wasn't. Yeah.
See,
Trying to be
that's
like,
why I
look,
say
he's
I'm
been
giving credit where
defiant.
maybe it wasn't
I
due.
think there was. I think there was a deleted scene where like Mace Windu said, if there was, and there might have been a scene in the movie and I just missed it. But Mace Windu told them to go after Dooku.
Right.
Uh, I
It's
may have
possible.
missed it. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I guess those are the kind of things I like, because I look at the end result, not maybe what the intention was, which isn't necessarily fair, because I guess that's why I'm always the glass half full guy. Because I'll see some shit that was bad and be like, yeah, I mean, I can see what they were trying to do. But then when something turns out really good, but it wasn't their intention, I'm like, yeah, see how it turned out? So I kind of pick and choose. And I guess for this movie, I think, yeah, if you look at it, you could say a lot about, oh, the actors suck and the
No, the
writing
acting was
sucks.
great. The writing was bad.
But I think the writing was good, because I never once felt like it wasn't believable. I think if you were to write Anakin or Obi-Wan or all these characters as like heroes, or like whatever the movie stars or movie heroes or whatever, I think it would feel shittier. I like all their stupid lines or their angsty shit or the weird shit they say, because that's how people talk. Like, that's how real people interact. And I want to get into this too. I guess we're going to dive into this and we'll pick up the smaller stuff later. Is
Yeah.
Anakin specifically, I fucking hate Anakin. In the first, like, maybe the first half or more of the movie, and maybe all of it, I don't know. But, like, I remember at least leading up to him reuniting with Padme and shit, I fucking couldn't
That
stand
was
him,
like the
dude.
first scene, wasn't it?
In the very beginning, I think, when they first reunite, and up until the point where he gets put on the mission with her, and he does that weird shit where he's like staring at her like a fucking rapist.
Yeah.
I hated this
Hey,
guy.
you can't use that word.
Oh, sorry. Like a guy who wants to make aggressive maneuvers unwillingly.
The
towards
guy
a
who's willing to engage in a word that rhymes with grape.
Yes, you got the grapist. I'm gonna grape you.
The
I'm gonna tie you to the grate and grape you. What? What's wrong with it? Oh man. But yeah, so that whole shit, right? I fucking hated it. I was like, God, your acting sucks. It's super awkward. The writing sucks. Get him off the screen. Nobody would say that. It's fucking terrible, right? Hated every second of it. But then as the movie progressed and I watched more and more of it, I really started to come around, and I've said this before, but it reinforced it on my second watch. Everything he said throughout the whole movie was so fucking, like, good, in air quotes good, because it was what his character would have done, said, or the way he would have acted, I feel like, even though it's not correct. And that's why I say I like that they're not movie characters, they're people. And I see a lot of it throughout the movie where he acts just like. And I tried to put this perspective in. I said, remember the 10-year-old Annie from the first one, or 9-year-old, 8-year-old, whatever. I said, remember that little Annie from the first one, and now put him as this guy pretending to be a man. And so much of it made more sense. And I was like,
Yeah,
he's
that's
probably
fine. That's
huh?
I'm actually fine with him being an angsty teenager and all
Uh,
that shit. I was just talking about this the all the like people's logic doesn't make sense throughout the movie.
yeah, but that's
Like
good. That's what I like.
no, hold on.
Uh,
The bounty hunter is hired to, or not the bounty hunter. Count Dooku wants to assassinate Padme,
mhm.
right? So he hires fucking Jango Fett to go do it. And Jango Fett decides, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna get a different bounty hunter to go do it.
Yeah,
And
smart.
then no, hold on. While Anakin, when that fucking bounty hunter fails, Anakin and Obi-Wan are chasing her the entire time. Jango could have killed Padme.
No, because they had guards. As soon as like it happened, a
He could
bunch of
kill
people.
those guards. Those guards ain't shit.
No, but we don't know who else
They're not
reinforced.
Jedi. Those guards ain't shit.
No, but we don't know who else reinforced. I would imagine she was moved to like a secure location. There was a bunch of people on site. Like I imagine the security increased tenfold as soon as they left.
In 5 seconds, nah.
Well, we don't know where he was.
He had to have been close by because he was following her.
Yeah. But
He
I'm
had to.
saying
He had
within the amount of time that like he found out the plan went wrong to then. We don't know when he found out
He
things
had
went
to have
wrong.
been there with her to follow her. To follow her and Anakin and all them to chase them down and kill them in that bar.
No,
He
I'm
had to have
thinking he
followed
was
them,
at the
meaning he
meeting
had to be
place.
close enough to see it.
Do you remember the rendezvous point they met in the beginning? I'm
Yeah,
thinking he may have been at a separate rendezvous point or somewhere similar, or maybe she was supposed to meet him in the bar. And then when she came back and was being chased by Jedi, it was like, oh shit, something went wrong. So
all
he
right.
waited
But
in
still,
the
why didn't he
background.
kill the Jedi's? And, like attempt to kill the Jedi's. Like he got the dart past them to kill that girl.
You would
Or
fight
the
both
changeling.
Jedi's? I don't know. That seems. I mean, he could
He
have
killed
shot them
one
in
of
the
them. No,
back.
no, no. Look, when he shot the dart to kill the girl before she said his name,
Hmm.
he could have killed one of the Jedi instead.
If he only had the one dart, I mean, I guess why not? Because you can't kill both Jedi's with one dart.
Yes, but he can kill one of them and then fight the other one. He tried to fight one later.
We also don't know the
It was
repercussions of
handling one
that.
later. Huh?
We also don't know the repercussions. Like, what kind of. Maybe it's like taboo, right? You don't just go fuck with the Jedi and you're not paid for it. So maybe he's thinking in his head, oh, I wasn't paid for this shit. I'm going to get rid of this guy and then go recollect myself and try this again
But he's
later.
still gonna get the Jedi chasing after him. He left him a clue. He left him a fucking dart
Now,
in
that's
her
just
neck.
ignorance. That's just him being dumb. I'm going to chalk that up to he didn't think
Might as well just fucking kill the Jedis.
He couldn't kill both, though, if we have this
He
understanding that he
probably
only
could.
had
He could
one.
probably fight one of them. Like
Maybe.
if he assassinated one of them and then try to fight the other one off.
But look at what happened. He got his ass beat by fucking, was getting his ass
No,
beat.
he was fighting. He was beating Obi-Wan. He lost to Mace Windu.
Uh, I guess yeah, he was beating up on Obi-Wan. No, it was about even. I would say he got the upper
Yeah.
hand just because he had like machines and shit, and he could fly in the soapy weather or the rainy weather.
Yeah.
But I think overall it would have been close, even if you did get the one. And then you have the idea that if he does go for the one, that oh shit, then the other one takes the hostage away, and they just cut their losses, and you can't find him. So then they're gonna know exactly what's going on. I think overall you could. I think as a bounty hunter, you maybe could have went both ways, but that seemed like the safest.
But the target still got out of his way either way.
Oh yeah, he would have had to go back and kill her again. But he, I think, didn't think it was that high priority, or didn't want to put his neck on the line. Is what it seems like. That's why he would have done that. It's like, oh, I'm not putting a fucking senator. I'm not. No matter how much you pay me, I'm not going to go put myself in that kind of line of fire. Let me see if I can get someone else to do it, and I'll be untraceable, so I don't eventually get killed by Jedi, which happened to him anyway.
He's not untraceable though. She could have gave up his name anywhere.
No, that's true, but I guess it's sort of a bounty hunter code of thing. Like you're not supposed to do that. Especially if the mission went well. Like I imagine bounty hunters don't just go giving each other up until they're about to die and they don't want to die, kind of thing. Um, but
Yeah,
I
but
guess
if he doesn't trust, if he doesn't want his name, oh, I don't want this to link back to me. This bitch knows my name. It'll be okay.
yeah, but if she doesn't get caught, it will be okay. There's no telling how many assassinations that
That's
bitch
if.
already pulled
Why
off.
don't he just go do the mission himself, and it'll be more of a higher chance that it'll succeed if he does it himself.
It depends. We don't know how skilled she was. Obviously, it looks bad because she died, But I imagine her infiltration skills are a hell of a lot better than his, and that was kind of the plan. He looks like more of a fucking rough and tumble kind of bounty hunter. You know what I mean? He's not gonna
Yeah, that's
bust into
fair.
the senator's place and just go fight him with his rocket pack and
Yeah.
blasters. I don't imagine him doing that.
Yeah.
So I think that you hire an espionage fucker who can sneak in and transform into anybody. That seems like a little bit better call.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that you could go either way with it, but I think the logic
Yeah.
seemed to make sense to me. Um,
There's a lot. There's a giant trail of fuckery going on
yeah.
from
There's
Duke Vita.
definitely there's other things I think he could have done in the situation, but I don't think it felt bad enough that it was like unbelievable. Um,
I don't know. The chase lasted a really long time. I feel like he could have just went in there and killed Batman.
the chase. Now that is and that's why I say that begs the question if he was already like at their meeting spot, or if he was already following them, that he knew she would get caught, so he knew he had to clean the body up first before getting Padme. Because like I said, if there was any amount of people in that room, he has what, one or two blasters? You know what I mean? And she could have already. I imagine she would have been moved out of the room with a big hole in the window, and like
She wasn't
dangerous
though.
shit.
She was still in that room later. The next time we see her,
Was she?
yeah, she was still packing in that room. Still like
What?
hanging out like nothing happened.
Well, she had to pack her
Uh,
stuff the next. That was the next morning, or that was the same night.
the next morning.
Yeah, she had to pack her stuff. That's her bedroom. Like you can't just
Hey,
not go back in
get
there
your
forever.
servants to do it. If it's such a high priority. Oh no, you're being assassinated.
Well, the Jedi were there though. Anakin was in the same room.
Yeah, they were there the last time she almost got assassinated.
Now that's funny. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think that maybe that's what he
Yeah,
was
and them
doing.
using her as bait, I've heard is stupid, but it's that's whatever.
Yeah,
They know she's
that's
getting
dumb.
assassinated. That makes sense. That one makes sense to me.
I don't know. I feel like that's stupid as fuck. Like, and that's why he didn't tell Obi-Wan about it. um,
Huh? Oh yeah.
I think that's just fucking stupid. It's just like you're not gonna risk someone dying if like trained professionals are after her. Why the fuck would you risk it? Because like clearly
It
that
was her
window
idea.
wasn't bulletproof unless he used some amazing force jump through it. They could have
Yeah,
just
yeah, we're
fucking
gonna just jump straight through
yeah. They
it.
could have just fucking Yo, by the way, I love that scene. Obi-Wan has big balls. That motherfucker did not hesitate. He said, "I got it." And just jumped out like 50 stories high out of the fucking robot through a
I think it was
glass
more
window.
than 50. Yeah, I don't.
I
They're
love
fucking
it, dude.
high up in the
That shit
sky.
was fucking cool. Big props to Obi-Wan for being a fucking man. Um, but what do you call it? Also, were those bugs sentient? Like, were those like assassin bugs? What the fuck was that?
I don't fucking know.
Because like they
They're
put the
bugs.
bugs in there, and I'm like, so the bugs they hid from the light as if they knew it was there, and like were purposefully targeting their target, and they went to pincer maneuver. Like one went left, one went
They're
right.
secondary bounty hunters hired by the secondary or tertiary bounty hunters hired by the secondary bounty hunter.
Bro. Oh, that's
Because
funny.
she
But
didn't
yeah,
want to be
'cause
found out. Oh no, think about it. Think about it. She hired the droid. The droid hired the two
bro.
fucking worms.
Oh my god, that's fucking funny.
A rushing nesting doll of assassins.
I love it. I'm down. Oh fucking! But even before that scene though, when Palpatine was in the room with all those Jedi Masters and was just fucking chilling,
Yeah,
oh my god, I was not ready for that. He was literally sitting there chilling, and he's like, "Yeah, the dark side clouds our vision or something." He's like, "Oh," just sitting there, just like talking to him like nothing's wrong. I'm like, how the fuck do they not know? Like, it's either he's just that powerful, or it shows how weak they are. And I
he's
don't know
just
which
that
one,
powerful.
but like, holy fuck, that shit was crazy. He's just sitting there chilling, like in the same room.
I don't
with
know
all
about the
them.
force feats that everyone does in the later movies. I'm gonna go with they're that weak.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird, and that's why I was actually thinking about sometime in this movie too. Is that the idea that like the Force, um, fucking like the shit that they do with the Force, it's weird, right? Because it's like, so sometimes this Force is this amazing, powerful thing, right? And you hear about all the crazy shit it can do, and then you see like the most strongest motherfucker with the Force, and then Yoda's like struggling to carry that one beam,
Yeah,
and I'm like, so if this is like, I'm gonna make an assumption here. If this is the strongest Jedi in the universe, Force-wise, that why is that like the limit or sort of the thing of his abilities? Now you can say he's
'cause
old,
they were still trying to get keep it contained in a
tame.
semi like stakes. Like Oh, yeah, a person who's not a Jedi could definitely contend with a Jedi if they're like trained enough, because there's not the Jedi aren't doing some really, really, really crazy shit. But yeah,
Right,
as it kept going, as the movies kept going, they started power creeping the Force.
right. No, I like that, and
So
I actually appreciate the sort of less power. No, I lied. The more powerful force is just fucking awesome, but I think it should be reserved, if that makes sense.
like when Kylo stops a fucking blaster fucking fire.
Yeah, that was just
Uh
weird. I didn't even think that was
uh
impressive. Um,
um the hell's her name? Leia fucking flies to the fucking what's it called? The spaceship because she's fucking in fucking space.
that's a force push, right? That's not. Well, she never had
She,
that much sensitivity though, which is weird.
she
She
forced she
she
force pulled herself into the ship.
right. Well, force push and pull. She only weighs maybe what 130 at best.
Yeah,
100,
but she force
140.
pulled herself into a spaceship while she's floating in space. Um, Granted, we never seen anything like that, sure, but
Right.
that's very, very crazy.
Yeah. No,
Uh,
it was a little. It was a little like weird. I guess I didn't mind it.
Ray, whenever she got all those boulders, wasn't struggling to hold the boulders. Remember how like Yoda was holding those like little bits of rubble over his head up, like barely. It's
Right.
like,
Right.
and then he like took him, like, and he like fucking pushed him off of his head or
Right.
off from over his head. And she was just kind of like, they're like, huh, I did it. Look at me. I'm doing it. And there's like a bunch of fucking boulders just fucking flying in the air. So yeah,
Right.
it's definitely power creep in the Force, but there's been power creep from like the old trilogies to the prequel trilogies as well. So
Yeah, that's true.
it hasn't been that drastic of a jump, but there is a little bit of a jump. Like the Force jump's a lot fucking crazier than the Force jumping in.
Yeah, the force jumps are so cool. They're jumping like fucking 40 feet or some shit. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. I'll say I forgot that Luke even did a Force jump until I rewatched the prequels or the originals.
Spoilers.
Uh,
I haven't got there yet.
well, he does a Force jump when he's fighting Darth Vader, and I said, "Hey, I forgot he did do a Force jump all the way back in this." Okay,
Hey,
that's
that's
not
cool.
something they added in the prequels.
I'm kind of sad.
Uh,
I used to have the VHS for those, but I don't have it no more.
oh, now you got this. Now you gotta watch the fucking digitals, the new digital ones. Uh,
Yeah, fucking.
we're not past the assassination scene. Uh,
Oh, well, a little. I think even before that too. When I was talking about Palpatine being in that room,
yeah,
his bitch ass almost got caught by Yoda when he finished Padme's sentence that one time,
yeah.
and Yoda stopped and looked. I said, "Uh oh, ooh, it's about to be on. I don't know." That shit was pretty good. But yeah, no, I think I like a lot of shit. Let me check because I have like a shit ton of notes about Anakin and his whole shit because he was like I think one of the best parts of the movie. And it's like let me go check my other stuff. Um, oh, one thing I didn't like.
I think Obi-Wan was the best part of the fucking movie. Oh my God, he's hilarious.
He was pretty
Uh,
good. I gotta
he
say.
has
I
some of
just
the
think
best lines in the movie.
he was
He has some of the most cool shit, jumping out of the fucking window, grabbing the droid.
he was really
Uh,
cool. Um,
oh, and Anakin said, he's like, "What took you so long?" I know, man. I said I couldn't find a speeder I liked. One in the cockpit.
that shit was pretty good. Um, when you see when that chase scene when they rode through the lightning, are they just like lightning proof or what?
It was like that shit that's in the pod racers, the shit that's in between the two.
Right,
Uh, yeah, it doesn't outright kill you. It just kind of hurts you a little bit. I guess those weren't as strong as the pod racer ones. Because the
right.
pod racer one, Jar Jar put his face in it, and his like tongue just went numb.
That's true.
So I guess they're just not as power couplings. That's what they're called.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it was even before that. When they reunite, one thing I didn't like, and I think I actually this is the part that I don't like at all, even with Anakin's like, his whole backstory, everything, is when he first was talking about like missing her. He said some shit like, "It's intoxicating. I've thought about her
Yeah.
every minute of
Yeah.
every day for the rest of
Yeah.
my
Dude,
life."
he's literally like fucking what's that shit called? Like fan fiction. Uh, fucking speaking. He talks like a character in a fanfic. Like a not a regular fanfic, like a smut fanfic.
Right, that one
It's
was weird. That particular line.
I don't know what George Lucas was reading to get inspiration for their uh lines or
Right.
romance.
Because I like
But
the
that's
other ones. Because the other ones were good. Even the stupid like crazy like perv eye he gave her in the room before they left. That
nah,
shit
it's
was good.
gross. Just creepy.
Because it was creepy, but he didn't know he was being creepy, and that's why I like it. Because if my understanding is correct, and we'll get into this too, like one of the fucking scenes after the whole shit with his mom, he hasn't been able to do anything for the past 10 years, but go on like Jedi
True.
missions and train with Obi Wan.
Yes. Yes.
So that's it. I imagine he
Yeah.
hasn't even talked to very many females, like at all.
Uh, other Jedi's.
Well, yeah, but that's still like you treat them the same way you would Obi Wan or something. Hello, master, type shit. Or maybe even one's his
I
age.
disagree.
I just,
Uh,
I don't
I
know.
disagree. There's still women.
Yeah, but they're not like they don't let you from an early age even have feelings or shit. If he talks to other Jedi women, they're gonna be trained from like, 4 years old to not have feelings or be attracted to men, and they're gonna internalize that, unlike he did.
They're allowed to have physical attraction.
No, that's like one of the big things they're not
Nah,
doing.
nah, 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 nah. They're allowed to have physical attraction. They just can't have attachment.
That's not. Oh, Jesus Christ.
They just can't
Let's
have attachment.
let's
There's
go bending the
attachment.
rules. They can go on a binger and just go get drunk and fuck hoes, but they can't like them.
Yeah, and then they gotta tell the hoes after the morning after they go, all right, well I'm sorry, I'm committed to the force, and then leave.
Bro, no.
Yeah.
But like, so he's trying to be cool, right?
Yoda came out.
No.
You
So I think
don't
he's
think he?
trying to be cool, but he doesn't know how to
Yeah,
be cool.
yeah.
So that's his best choice. He's like, yeah, I'll show her how manly I am and make eye contact and be really like strong to show her I'm a man now. But
I feel like she's had enough interaction with men that she should be like, this is creepy.
she
But
did
she's
say that
still
though. That's why I liked
for
it.
him. He's still full for him.
Yeah, but that was a lot later when she had seen more of it and she had also had time to relax a little bit around him. One of the scenes I like the best actually is when they're both allowed to be themselves at her little resort thing. That shit meant a
Yeah.
lot because I thought that scene was like too short and the relationship was too short lived. But the reason I think it makes sense, and again I think it's not, it's you see this in actually real life relationships where people go out and they meet each other and hang out for a weekend at a festival and then they fall in love. Oh, excuse
Yeah.
me. I think it's because if you look, they neither one of them had been free ever. Like Padme never been free pretty much ever since she was born or damn near. She was in politics school at like 10. And then he has been the last 10 years. He was a slave up until the point where Jedi for the last 10 years.
There's
Neither one of
confirmation she
them,
was in politics school when she was like 10 years old. Like she's
something like
not,
that. Yeah.
or she wasn't just free to do whatever the hell.
No,
Her
she was
parents
just, she was like, I was in the politic program and he was in something else. I imagine she was like, I don't know,
Oh yeah, she did say
10
that.
to 14, depending when she had her
Yeah.
first kiss, is what he was asking, I think.
Yeah.
Um, but it's like, so neither one of them for the almost their whole lives have ever had a weekend like that. So the
Yeah.
amount of emotional, like, I'm not, what's the opposite of trauma? Like the emotional good shit that you're going to feel just from having a weekend free is going to be too much to handle.
Catharsis.
But not only is
Yeah.
that going to be too much, you're going to attribute it to the other person.
Yeah.
It's like, and I talk about this before with just random conversations we have about the fact that, like, yeah, you get into a new relationship. Yeah, we love each other so much. We go out and we did this thing and we were here. I was like, well, did you like the vacation or did you like them? And I think that they did definitely have some sort of attraction, whatever. But if you look at like the situation, I think they fell too far fast because they were both in this crazy situation that they can attribute to each other because they were the only people there when they had this unique experience for their whole life. So I don't know. I kind of see it because she had also been denying it up until and even after that point.
Yeah.
And I think it was not until she was about to die that she kind of came clean with it.
Yeah.
And that's also because she was under emotional stress. And she was literally, before we die, I want to tell you something. And it's like, so I think so many things they had going on for like, let's say the week or two. I don't know how long they were together. It was a lot. Not to mention they did have history. So I think overall it makes sense. And like, it's a little weird, but that's also why I like it because they're both kind of awkward. Because I imagine she, even though she's been around a lot of dudes, probably try and pick up on her. She's probably not actually flirted with or liked a lot of men in her adult career because she's so busy as a politician. So I think some of her awkward lines also make sense to me and are kind of nice.
I don't think she really has awkward lines.
I think some
I
of
think
hers
it's
were
all
kind of weird,
Anakin.
or kind of like out of place or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Not out of place or weird. I don't know how to say it. dramatic or like falling in love kind of style shit. It
It
seemed a
makes
little,
sense for like romance novels, though. I was like I can always attribute hers easily to something. Anakin's just seemed really fucking weird. Okay, no, I can attribute his to weird fucking smut fucking fan fictions, but hers seems like it's straight out of a telenovela, like a fucking
right.
soap opera. Anakin's just seems like some fucking horny 14-year-old wrote it down.
And that's what I love because he was making it up.
Uh,
He never knew how to do that. He's never been around
uh,
women. He's never had a girlfriend. So that's why I say if I picture the little boy who when she walked in, are you an angel here to save me? It's him. It's the same guy. He hasn't had a chance to mature. He didn't go to high school. You know what I mean? He wasn't getting girlfriends and getting their numbers and
he
calling
went
them
to
on the
Jedi high
weekends.
school. He met Jedi women.
No, he didn't. They don't have that. Like,
They do have Jedi women.
yes, but they
That's
don't have
Ahsoka.
the same structure is what I'm saying. He didn't get to do that. So it's like he had to make this up on his own. That's why his flirtation sucks. He doesn't know how to flirt at all. And then his emotions come out way too over the top because he doesn't have any filter on them.
I guess he probably did skip the whole like early part where they actually socialize with other Jedi kids. So he went straight to Padawan, right? As
Yeah.
a little, yeah.
And it's like I think that's why he's so stupid. Like if you see like when he was like talking to her about how I hate the sand. I was like, "Oh god, what are you saying?" And he was like, "It's all coarse and
Rough,
he's like that's
irritating, and it gets everywhere.
that's his real
No.
trauma. Like he actually says that because he hated being a
Well, he
slave.
associates the sand with his actual trauma. That wouldn't make sense, but it just sounds creepy. And
Yes,
gross,
because he was
especially
trying to
he's-
use it to
he's
flirt.
trying to flirt, and it's weird.
Right, but that's why I love it. Like that's what I said earlier. I hated his character all the way through, but I loved it so much because everything he said sounded so organic.
Cringy. Oh my
Yes.
god, yeah.
And this is why I think anyone of you guys listening, if you guys are listening, this is your problem if you're one of the people who thinks this way. Yeah, the acting sucked. It was terrible. It was terrible writing. It's like, no, actually it was fucking
I didn't say
perfect.
the acting sucked. The acting's great. I'm talking about some of the writing, but I wouldn't even talk about Anakin's lines.
Well, no, a lot of people. I'm not saying you, but a lot of people say
Yeah.
that. I've heard
Yeah.
so many people just trash this movie because of Anakin and his acting and the lines and everything. No, it was awesome. That's how he would have acted. Like that's what makes his character like his character. That's what makes his drama so believable when he
no,
turns to the
the-
dark side.
A lot of the logic is where I'm at. Like fucking when Obi-Wan goes to Kamino and then he's like doesn't know what the fuck's going on, and
Yeah.
clearly he doesn't know what the fuck's going on. You have to make a lot of jumps in your own mind that the Kaminoans are on board with or they're working for the Empire. They're working for Darth Tyrannus and all this stuff.
But they weren't.
Yeah, you kind of have to make that jump in your head because otherwise they just seem like dumb fucks. Because what's his name? Obi-Wan shows up, doesn't know what the fuck's going on. They're like, "Oh, would you like to see your army?" And he's like, yeah, that's why I'm here." Clearly, he didn't know what the fuck he was doing there.
Yes, but they don't know that. And also, it's funny.
The way he acts is clearly he doesn't know what the fuck is happening or where the hell he is or why he's there.
Look at the way that they talk and look. And it's like they may not understand other cultures if they've never left their planet.
They do though. They're an intelligent species.
Yes.
And they don't pick up on the motherfucker not knowing what the fuck's happening. They're having conversation with him.
It's
and
not
he's like,
impossible.
"Oh, the logic is just terrible."
Also, he
But
makes it clear that he doesn't know what's going on, and they're not totally like unaware of that.
When he goes, "That's why I'm here." Clearly, like he's like, yes, yeah. Oh, I'm keeping up.
That could have been a
appearances.
shitty
Yes.
sense of humor that him joking
No.
around. They also
Nah.
don't know the Jedi. We can
They did
assume that they
not
don't
write
know
that way. That was not how that was intended.
what. No, yes, I'm not saying the actor and like the character himself knew everything. No, it was very clear to us as English-speaking people that he didn't know what the fuck was going on. But for them, all they know is okay, the Jedi ordered this. They don't know anything about who. They don't know anything about the Jedi structure. They don't know anything.
They know
They're just a
Master
customer.
Sapodilla ordered it, and then
Yes,
he said
that's it.
Master Sapodilla has been dead for 10 years. So
Yes,
yeah, you can
he
make
says
that,
that.
like, oh, he did this for them, and then he died before telling the rest of the Jedi, and there you go. But it's just you make a lot of jumps in your brain. It's not natural. Is all I was saying.
I didn't
I'm
have
not
to
saying
make
it's
any jumps.
the worst thing that's ever existed. I'm like, yeah, you have to make a lot of mental jumps in your brain to make all this stuff connect.
I didn't make mental jumps at all. I thought it was pretty funny. I was like, this stupid fucker's like fumbling about, but he's just smooth enough to like barely get by that they think he's weird. was like, that's pretty funny. And he had,
It's pretty clear the fucker doesn't know what's happening, and they should have picked up on that. And also, the Jedi just decide to keep the army and not ask questions about who Tyrannus is. Like we get, oh, Django is like, oh, I was hired by a man named Tyrannus, and
Mhm.
what they don't try to figure out. Oh, wait a minute, this might not be okay. It's not be good.
It was a lie. That's what Obi-Wan, I'm pretty sure was. Yeah, okay, you're gonna lie to my face. I know you were hired to do this. Why would you believe any word he said?
But if Master Sifo-Dyas was the one who did it, and then Jango Fett lied.
Yes, Jango Fett's a bounty hunter.
Oh my god. Okay.
But that's what I mean. That's what I mean. That Jango Fett's a bounty hunter. We don't like. We
Yeah,
don't
but
know
he
if
was
they were
Master Sifo-Dyas,
contracted.
why would he lie?
But they never like. We don't know if Sifo-Dyas is the one who hired the bounty hunter. He just hired the clones. The Kaminoans may have hired this dude or got someone to hire them for good genetics. They could have been like, "Hey, find us a guy with good genes," and then put a bounty out for somebody with good genes.
Hmm.
So we don't know the connection there.
Mm-hmm. Even Dooku like fucking tells them, "Hey, there's a," and they lie. They go, "Oh, okay, yeah. He's lying. He's lying." Or Dooku tell. Well, I've made my own mental not gymnastics, but headcanon as to like Dooku's like conflicted and shit. But it's again, it's just headcanon. But
Right.
Dooku fucking tells Obi-Wan, "Hey, the Senate is being controlled by a Sith Lord." And then he tries to, he's trying to overthrow the Sith Lord. That's my headcanon. And he probably is, because all Sith Lords are all trying to overthrow their fucking
Right.
masters.
He
And
thinks
he's
he
like,
can do
Obi-Wan,
it.
become my apprentice, and we can defeat the Sith Lord.
Right.
I don't know where his plan is after Obi-Wan becomes his apprentice. Now
Right.
you're a Sith with me. But yeah,
Right.
there's just a lot of that going on in the movie that it's definitely would rub people the wrong way. Is all I'm saying.
I see. See, for that one,
They get the,
I will agree, but I didn't have the same problem with that scene. I had a problem with why Obi-Wan didn't even like question any of it.
He mentions it to Yoda and Windu, and Yoda goes, he's trying to get us to fight amongst ourselves, try to get us to fight against the Senate. We do
Right.
not trust this. And then Mace Windu immediately is like, yes, but it'd be wise to pay
Keep an eye
attention
on
to the
him.
council anyways. Keep an eye on the Senate. Bruh,
Right.
you just said don't do that, and then you said fuck it, let's do it anyways.
That is kind of funny.
So
And
that's
even
the
Yoda
only shit I'm
agrees.
talking about is that the writing is slightly inconsistent in that way. That it's like, hey, this is bad. Okay, let's do that thing.
Right. Well, see, that's why I like it, though. I guess I've never, in the whole movie, those things, I didn't see them as issues with writing. I saw them as fucking human inconsistencies, and that's why I love it. It's the same person you see
It's
in the
just George Lucas
weekdays.
inconsistencies.
Go
That's
go
all it
work with a
is.
guy in the weekdays, and he says, "Yeah, man, I'm trying to get my life together, man. I'm not drinking anymore, man." And you go out to the fucking bar on Friday and see him pound 5 shots. What?
Yeah,
You told me you weren't drinking. Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm just,
but yeah,
I'm
right.
trying to do better. I'm just doing better. It's like, well, my buddy was going out tonight, and they have excuses, and they're just fucking stupid. And their logic doesn't make sense. People don't make
Yeah.
sense. That's why I love this whole movie. Is like the shit like that.
Uh,
Is all the shit that doesn't make sense. It's like, yeah, because these fuckers are stupid, and it shows how they're not
but
the
one
best
out of
beings.
6 movies does that. That's what I was like. It's not the whole movie. It's just like one random fucking movie. The movie is just inconsistent with the rest of the double trilogy. What do you call it? Fucking sextrology?
Quintology. Oh, yeah,
Uh,
the quint is 5. Sextology. Whoa,
pen,
easy. Can't use that word.
penta?
Uh,
Yeah, penta. No, wait.
no,
No, penta's
penta's 5. Oh yeah,
Sexology?
sextology, right?
I don't know.
Centology, I don't know. Who
Sent
cares?
to 7.
Um, but see, and that's how I said. I think I like it because to me, it's like, yeah, they're just people, and if anything, it made me believe that like this is why they're going to get fucked over. Because you have this image in your head, especially if you watch like the original, like the 4, 5, and 6, that Jedi are just these fucking beings, right? They're just these all good, all powerful, like deity beings who bring peace and love to the world and can do no wrong.
No, because Obi-Wan
So,
and Yoda were also flawed in the originals.
I guess, well, yeah. Oh, well, fucking, I forget how crazy Yoda was in that one. Um, he was like a little
Well,
gremlin
crazy was, yeah.
sometimes.
Well, his oh, you must adhere to the Force like strictly this way. So he's like very rigid in his belief, and turns out to be incorrect. So they're already flawed and established as flawed from the beginning, or at least you can interpret them as flawed.
I guess yeah. I always saw that as like they know the right way. You know what I mean? That's the all good
Yeah.
white, all pure white kind of shit. You know.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan especially. I never seen him like he was always this symbol of like peace and justice and shit and
Oh
everything. I
yeah.
was
Yeah.
like, yeah. So when I look at the way that they're presented in this movie, right
Well, he
before they're
lied he lied to Luke.
did he?
He's not like a pure. Yeah, he lied to Luke. He told him that Darth Vader killed his father.
He did.
It's kind of a lie, Trey.
Metaphorically, you're allowed to do that.
Metaphorically, exactly. It's kind of a lie.
Metaphorically, you're allowed to do
He was
that.
trying to trick him to killing his own father, and that's by the end of the movie or by the end of the trilogy, we find out that's not the way. That's not the true Jedi way. When everyone's trying to get him to kill him.
I don't think he wanted him to kill him.
Yeah, he did.
If he wanted to kill him, he would have fought
Keeping the
back.
truth from him, he wanted him to kill him.
He would have fought back and tried to kill him himself.
No, he wanted Luke to do it.
I don't know. I
So.
think he maybe thought there was a peaceful solution. We don't know, I guess, because he died in the first one. But I imagine
Okay.
like he wasn't looking for a fight in the first one.
I could have swore he's. I mean, when we rewatch it, I guess we'll have that
Yeah, we'll have to get there.
conversation. But I'm pretty sure he wanted him to kill him. He was like trying to get him in number 5 to do it. Like just ignore your feelings or blah 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 blah.
Right. Maybe. But yeah, I liked in number 2. It's like it's setting up for the fall of the Jedi, and it's showing all of their flaws, and that's
Yeah.
why I loved it. I was like, yeah, these fuckers don't know like what they're doing. Like they're like they're distrustful, they're inconsistent, they're fucking like they seem like they're liars. They don't know what's going on in half the galaxy. They're not strong enough to even stop Palpatine, who's sitting in the room with 5 of their strongest. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, holy shit, you know what I mean? There's just so much that goes on. And then you see how frail Yoda was that he couldn't even stand up to Dooku. Well, technically, he was standing up pretty just fine.
Yeah,
But then-
the thing was the only reason Dooku won was because he decided to go attack Anakin and Obi-Wan
Right.
while
So
they were
that's true.
defenseless.
He used the chance to get away. So it's like, I see so much, though, that like I was like, damn.
Another
makes me
another
kind
bad
of-
move by Dooku. He could have killed Yoda while he was trying to save Anakin and Obi-Wan.
That's true. But I don't think he wanted to, you know?
Oh, definitely not. So my headcanon was he was conflicted.
Because that was his
Uh,
master, you know?
Yeah. Literally, my headcanon is he's still conflicted. He's still not sure. Like now, all the beans are fucking spilled. Now they know that he's a bad guy.
Right.
But he hasn't been completely outed. He hasn't been outed long enough for those feelings to go away. Those
Right.
conflicted feelings.
But he
Yeah.
still wants to overthrow Palpatine because he thinks he
Yeah.
can use the dark side to his advantage, kind of thing. Which is
Yeah.
like,
I
and
think he
that's
wanted
again-
to
that's
make Grievous his next apprentice or something, or the next one. But
I don't know.
probably. This is my headcanon because we don't see
Oh.
Dooku for like one scene, just that
Right.
fight. Yeah. So
But yeah, so I like it. Like, and I like Ewan McGregor's stupid shit because Obi-Wan clearly like he's just so distrustful, and this is why again with the scene with like Boba Fett, it's like or Jango, he's like telling you what happened, and he gives him a look like, no, the fuck that didn't happen. That's not how that could have happened. You're lying to me. And then he
yeah.
and then the next scene, you literally watch, dude. He spills the beans. Yep, the Senate's being ran by this guy. We can try and stop. And because look, the look on his face, the genuine look on Dooku's face when he was delivering those lines, like, no, he was serious. Like,
Yeah.
I think he truly had this look, like, please join me. Like, we can do this.
Yeah, he
But,
did.
like,
He definitely. That's what I'll say. Like what's it called? My headcanon is it's just it works in my brain that Dooku is like conflicted and wants. Yeah.
right,
So.
and he's short-sighted. That's why like, what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You're like, I had to make head leaps. What was he supposed to do next? Did he have a plan? I don't think he had a plan. That's why I love it. I don't think he had a plan, and I think if Obi-Wan wasn't so distrustful and so like righteous, he may have listened to him more. Like Anakin might have listened to him, and that
Yeah.
would have been good. That would have been good for like stopping the bad guys potentially. And you'll be in a totally different world if Anakin was the one locked up there, and that's what's
Yeah.
crazy to think about. That because it was Obi-Wan, all this shit went so differently. And then you see how Mace Windu acts, especially. He's always the first person to be like, standoffish or like more military might, kind of thing. He was the one who was going to kill the fuck out of Palpatine.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think he's a good sort of dichotomy to Yoda as well. And that's why I kind of like that scene. Yoda was like, we shouldn't really do this because, I don't think this is the truth. And then Windu's like, nah, fuck that. I'm going to keep a tight eye on these motherfuckers. And then Yoda's like, yeah, you should do that. Because it's like Yoda wants to not be that guy. So he's like, yeah, I'll let you do that, Mace Windu, kind of thing. Like it's like he knows that he's not strong enough to see it, so he
Yeah,
has to use. How do you say it? Like he wants to be a good guy, but he has to kind of lean on other people to do bad things a little bit and kind of fudge the shit. But he doesn't want to be the
yeah.
guy to say it. That's why he said in the end, "Oh, okay, Mace Windu suggested it. Sure, I didn't have anything to do with that." And it almost shows that Yoda cares about his image. And it's like a weird thing. Like, why would you care about your image? You know, like what?
Because they're kind of politicians.
A little bit, and
The
Yoda
council is
specifically.
literally like politicians. Um,
Right.
for yeah, they're representatives of the Jedi to like the public.
And Yoda's the
Uh,
most wisest and peaceful out of all of them, it seems.
exactly.
So he can't be the one who said keep tabs on them, but he can let
Yeah.
Mace Windu do that.
Well,
So
I mean, he's also on the council, so it still looks bad.
yeah, but it's
Yeah.
easy enough to say like it's him, right? So it's kind of
Yeah.
if the shit hits the fan, they can say Mace Windu, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Uh, stupid, but that's what I like about it. It shows all these inconsistencies with the way that they operate. But those are also the inconsistencies necessary to protect yourself. Because if you don't take that leap and start monitoring the Senate, then you might just fucking die. So it's like, how do you do that? You know, how do you be a good guy and not prepare for war, kind of thing? So I don't know. I like it. As far as all of those like
Would it go back
inconsistencies.
chronologically since we like just hopped around everywhere, or we?
Right. I get back on here. We're back on this thing. Back to the chase scene. What the fuck are the traffic laws on that planet?
Yeah, I don't know. Some
Because
kind of.
that shit was crazy. There was just shit going everywhere. It's not a big deal, but I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like, that's not really that big a deal for me because I'm like, I don't know how the traffic works on this
Right.
planet where they have fucking flying, so I'm just gonna leave it alone.
Right. I thought it
Uh,
was funny. Like it wasn't like something I want to critique, but I was like, that's kind of funny because there was shit. It seemed like it had a structure, but I was like, what is the structure? It's kind of cool. Like maybe there's a meter distance because they were all seemed like the lines had like a certain height, in a certain direction. Like it was only going one direction on some of those things. I don't know. But one of the fucking lines in that scene, actually, I had to write this one down. Obi-Wan looks. Why do I get the feeling you're gonna be the death of me?
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it was funny.
I died. I was like, you
No,
can't say
I
that.
think my actual favorite line of the entire fucking movie is in the bar when the dude comes up to him. You want to buy some death sticks? You don't want to sell me death sticks. I don't want to sell you death sticks. You want to go home and rethink your life? I want to go home and rethink my life.
Right? Nah, that shit was cool.
It was definitely an homage to whenever they were at the bar, picking up Han, right? And he like slashed the guy. Not that scene specifically, but whenever the bounty hunter came behind him and cut that bounty hunter's arm.
hmm
It's like similar to whenever they cut off that one guy's arm and said, I don't like you. Or my friend doesn't like you. I don't like you either. He cut off that guy's arm.
Right.
He was no nonsense back then too.
It's true.
Don't fuck with me. I cut your arm off.
Hey, it's true. He has a history. But yo, I like that going into because I'm back to my next notes on fucking Anakin. More shit I love about him is that in the same sentence when he's fucking talking to Padme, he literally in the same sentence shows everything he continues to bitch about Obi-Wan saying in the next fucking sentence. Because he's like, Padme's bitching about whatever she has to do. He said, sometimes we need to put our pride away and do what's asked of us. And like that was it. And she's like, oh, you've grown, you're so mature or whatever. And he's like, yeah, see? Why doesn't Obi-Wan even see it? I just do all this shit, and he says I'm inconsistent, and then he does this, and I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, there you go, you did it. You literally proved him right.
Yeah.
Like, in the same sentence, you had your moment. Just be a cool Jedi guy and say, yeah, sometimes we gotta do what we have to do. And then as soon as he got an opening from her to, like, let his shit out, he just let it all out. Because think about who he's had to bitch to. Nobody.
Yeah.
So it's like all of a sudden he just pours his fucking heart out to her in like instantly almost. And I was like, holy shit, Anakin, calm
I
down.
don't see I don't know how she got attracted to him. He seems like a whiny bitch.
Right, but I think it's because she saw his pain though. And because you see and obviously we can't get all of their interactions.
But maybe when he was like crying about his mom, I could see it, like the pity. But God, he's just.
Well, even before that, like when they're talking on the way back to her place, it's like, yeah, you know, she was like, so what's going on? How have you been? He was like, yeah, she's talking about how much I imagine they were talking about how much it sucked. And then
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, you can't talk to who you want, you can't go where you want, you can't do what you want, love who you
Yeah.
want. And then it's like I think she thought about that because if you look at her face, all his previous advances had been like stupid and childish and like trying to be like way too flirtatious and not knowing how to like his bravado and like keep it in check or whatever.
Yeah.
But when he said that, you could tell he wasn't trying to flirt with anybody. A little bit, he was looking at her trying to say that, but he didn't have that same air about him. It wasn't like he was trying to force that at her. It was almost like he was just letting her know, like, I've missed you, and I haven't been able to do anything or talk to anybody, and it fucking sucks, and I've been lonely and shit, and it's like, god damn. And I think she's thought about that a little more. And then you go to like them spending their time together. Not only did they have a really awesome like day in the park together, but the night after or before, when he has those nightmares and shit. And I think it was after because he woke up the next day and went to his mom.
He was like, yeah, he was outside fucking meditating, standing
Right.
meditating, and then she was like, said something about his bad dream, and he said, Jedi's don't have nightmares. And
Right. And she
yeah.
saw it. She was like, you're not a robot. I wish she didn't say this, but I'm thinking like she's noticing it.
Yeah,
She's like, what do
yeah.
you mean? Like, and she sees his vulnerability, and I think she can start to understand him in that time. Like as a woman, I think they're really good at that. They're good at like looking at people for feelings and shit. And I think she began to understand why he was acting so weird or why he feels the way he does. And I imagine off camera, like for the viewer, that he's also talked to her more so about what he's been doing, how Obi-Wan has been a good mentor, but he feels blah blah blah, like he wish he could have done more. And just
That's not even off camera. That was on camera. He mentioned
oh,
about. He's like, oh yeah. He mentions Obi-Wan is as wise as Master Yoda and as powerful as Master Windu. Uh, and
right.
then like right after goes on and complains about how he doesn't trust him and believe he's ready and
Yeah, that was the same scene. Yeah. So and I love it. So he shows how childish he is and how because my favorite line is he says I'm inconsistent. Not inconsistent. Was it unreliable
uh
or was it?
yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you're proving that. You had your chance at the start of this scene to be a man, and you fell back into your child side almost immediately. And that's why you're unreliable, because you have
Impulsive.
potential. Oh, good.
He calls him impulsive, unreliable, and
Yeah, impulsive, that's what it was.
yeah.
And he is, and that's why I think that their relationship, and this is why.
Obi-Wan's impulsive. You see him jump out that
No, that's
window?
not impulsive, though. He knew he had to track him down. That's a sense of duty. He put his own life on the line to go after that robot
Yeah.
because he knew it was for justice. I love it.
For democracy.
Hell yeah, for democracy. Jump out the fucking window.
Um,
Um,
no, I still think it could have been polished more. I think three has the perfect
mhm.
amount of cheese, I guess, or soap opera like
Right.
drama. The way their lines are delivered, and I think two falls somewhere a little short of where three's at.
Okay, I
Mm.
think to me, it's so far from a number 1 to
And
2, it's the
I
best.
think one has the least amount of dramatic lines. Everyone kind of is a little stiff and talks like a robot.
Right,
But I feel like George Lucas was still not there with his writing
hmm
because he definitely had help writing the original trilogy. Uh,
right. So I guess I
and I
haven't.
think
I can't remember 3. It's been so long since I watched it. So going from 1 to 2, that's why I think this shit was fucking awesome.
maybe.
So I may have to rescind it and say yeah, number 3 did it better. But I love almost all the drama throughout this movie. Because going into the next, I guess I don't know if it's the next scene. We'll probably jump back eventually. But
Yeah.
what do you call it? Is the scene after his mom and everything? Some of those lines he had were like key fucking lines, and
Well,
I
on the
didn't.
way to his mom, that music.
Whew,
Yeah. Woo.
no, I'm telling you, the music scored like, oh my god, dude. But when he comes back, obviously he's like struggling or whatever. But he's I forgot. Let me pull up these lines.
I'll say the scene where after he killed those fucking the sand people was really good. That was spot on point. There was nothing that I had like barely anything. I have nothing to critique about that scene.
Because when he
Uh,
comes back after, he says she's like talking to him and shit, and she can tell he's fucked up bad. Like, and she talks to him, is like asking him what's wrong and shit, and then he's starting to break down, and he's like, "I'm a Jedi. I'm better than this." And
yeah,
it's like, holy fuck, dude. You can really tell that he's trying his best to be a Jedi and do these things, but he can't. You know what I mean? He's human. And I say human weirdly, loosely, because of how the Jedi are trained from like 4 years old. It's like that's the kind of shit that, like, what's his name? That's the kind of shit that Yoda knew he would deal with.
yeah.
But even before that, I forgot I had to, or maybe it was after that at some point. He screams, "I wasn't strong enough to save you. It's Obi-Wan. He's jealous. He's holding me back." And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? No one's even talking about Obi-Wan. I was like, what? Why? Where is that coming from? And then I realized if he was a fucking Jedi sooner, he could have gone where he wanted to go. And he could have went to save her. It's the fact that he wasn't promoted. And that's why he said earlier, he was like, I wasn't strong enough. That's what that shit means. It's like if he was better, faster, he could have became a Jedi and saved her faster. And I was like, holy fuck, dude. Holy cannoli. I couldn't. I was about to be in tears myself. Like, that scene was so fucking good, dude. Like, whew. And then even the scene when he's walking outside to bury her, or maybe when he's coming back, he mean mugs the shit out of the fucking family. And at first, I thought that was so fucked up.
I don't think he was mean mugging them. Personally, I thought he was just, angry looking.
I think it's a little. I think he subconsciously was thinking it's their fault that they should have saved her if they were the ones like taking care of her, and that they didn't do a good enough job because he's that pissed off. Like, holy shit!
He was in there fixing their shit like right after, so I was like, maybe he wasn't.
Well, no, he was just fixing stuff to go back to his childhood, and that's also where where I made this connection I mentioned like a long time ago that I kind of retroactively put through the movie. Is when he's like, I just want to go back to fixing things. Essentially, he says something about that, and I was like, holy shit!
I made a connection when I was like watching that, and I was thinking, I was like, maybe this is where he gets the idea, or not where he gets the idea, but it's just showing us like, oh, he thinks he can fix everything, right? So he can fix the political situation of the fucking, because remember there was what him and Padme were talking about early on,
right?
About how like
we can't do
politics
this.
Don't work,
right? Not true.
My dog's out. Keely's. I don't think Keely's doing it. I hear them whining in there.
Quick commercial break.
Keep going. No, we'll keep going.
Okay. But yeah, no, I love it, dude. And he's like, I think he almost regrets being a Jedi. He was like, man, if I would just stayed there, things would have been better almost. It's like he almost wants to take it back. But it's like, that's crazy. But it's so much emotion, so many fucking lines in one small scene. I'm like just blown away. But that shit was good. Let me see. Let me go back to the Camino Dart was neat. This is a fucking point against the movie. I thought the Camino Dart thing was neat because it was a way to bring Camino into the mix. And I was like, that's kind of cool, but I don't remember them having like special guns on their planet. So it looked like they just made, it looked like they made clones. They didn't make guns. So I imagine they ordered their guns. So why do they have special darts? Because also none of the troopers have dart guns. They all have, like blasters. So that was kind of weird for me. I was like, okay, I found that one. That was one of the holes that I found. Not important. They had to connect Camino somehow. But and I think that's also the same reason that Jango was the one who was based for their bodies. Now, I guess, well, no, because Dooku is the one who made the order, I think. No. Palpatine or Dooku, no, Palpatine was never a Jedi, so it had to be Dooku, I think. Unless Sifo Dyas was actually in league with them.
I don't think so.
Because they never explained that, I don't guess.
Yeah. Nah. Because Obi-Wan said he died probably 10 years ago. I don't remember if he said exactly 10 years ago he died.
Right.
But Dooku is Tyrannus. And
right.
Jango says he was hired by a man named Tyrannus.
Yeah, that's true. So he kind of orchestrated the whole thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense. That's all canon, I guess. It was just the fact that the dart specifically was like tied to them that they didn't really. It's not important. That's like a random stupid thing that if you like give negative points for that, I feel like that's just shitty. One line Obi-Wan said that fucked me up when they were in the little diner. He said, "Yeah, if droids could think, we'd all be gone," or some shit.
Yeah.
They made hints as if droids were just robots. And I was like, what the fuck? What is that?
It was more so just a Obi-Wan thing. There you go.
But yeah, no, I was thinking, I was like, dude, what the fuck? Because R2 and C-3PO have feelings? What the hell? Like, that shit just,
Yeah, no, I just thought it was an Obi-Wan thing, but also it's not confirmed that they have fucking emotions and shit. So.
That's true. They could just have really advanced programming, I guess.
Yeah.
But, let's see. What's next on the chopping block? Yeah, when they bring up Dooku casually, and this is where I think that, back to what we were saying about the whole fucking Jar Jar shit, maybe Dooku was written in last minute. is when they bring up Dooku, they just I think for no reason they bring him up and is like, it's not in his nature to kill anyone. He's just a politician. Um, and I was
Padme
like,
brings it up.
so yeah, I was like, well, it seems weird. You know what I mean? Because clearly, because they brought up before in the movie that
There's a lot of like random contrived kind of stuff to try to like speed the plot along. Like, hey, we need to bring you up to speed. We've jumped 10 years. We got to bring
right.
all this stuff in. So like whenever they like one of my biggest ones was like the conversation they had on the elevator seems really fucking weird. Like
Oh, the two bros living the past.
yeah, it just seems awkward and weird. And, like I
Right.
know it because it's two different actors. It's not the same Anakin, so they don't have the chemistry yet that they should.
Mm-hmm.
Like they definitely have the chemistry in three, and it seems like they've been through a lot together in three. Whenever they talk to each other,
Right.
whereas in this one it seems kind of weird and like oh they definitely have not been together that long.
Well, it was, but
And
no, he says in the thing though, it's because they were Padme. He was like, "You're acting weird. You're sweating. What the fuck's wrong with you?"
yeah, he tells him that, but I'm saying that like the way they interact together, even when she's not around, it's weird.
Oh,
Uh,
I guess I never picked up on it. I always thought it was pretty
yeah.
good, and it was a little
Uh,
awkward, I guess, or angsty. But that was the reason I think it was
No,
good because
I'm talking
there
about
was
their chemistry. I'm not talking about his like just the stiffness of the lines and stuff. I'm just like them together just seems really awkward and weird, and
I guess
it
I don't know
doesn't
what
seem
that
like they've been
means.
to yeah.
I'd
Also,
have
it
to.
doesn't seem like they've been together. They've been actually together a long time. The only time it really does is whenever he's chewing them out, which is I guess a lot of the times, and I guess that's what they've practiced the most is him chewing them out. Um, like when he no like when Anakin says oh everyone's gonna kill me when his fucking lightsaber cut it definitely feels like oh yeah definitely oh like Obi-Wan has like chewed him out before about the fucking lightsaber and we see it earlier. What did I tell you about losing this? Don't lose this again.
Right.
This is your life. It does sometimes it does feel like oh yeah they've definitely been together, but a lot of times when they talk together they don't seem like they have that connection.
The only time I felt that
It's
was
a
in the car
chemistry
ride.
thing.
Um, the only time I felt that was in the car ride because they were talking about something they did, and it was
Hmm.
like, "Oh, I hate when he does this" or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, the way that you said that was a little weird.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Um,
talking about. Is that this a lot of times it does feel like that, but it's on and off throughout the movie. But in three, it's completely it feels right. But it doesn't get they've already done a whole movie together, so
right.
uh,
See, I didn't notice. I guess I don't. It was immersive enough to me.
it's just a
But
chemistry thing. It's just something that the actors need to develop before they actually film to make it seem like natural the way they talk and hang out and
right.
stuff. Yeah,
See, I guess I
uh,
only noticed it during the car, but I guess if there was other ones, I didn't pick up on them. Um,
it's
one scene
also
I'm
it's a spectrum for everyone. So some people will be like, oh no, definitely. We'll be like whatever I think is unnatural. They'll be like, no, that feels perfectly natural to me.
right
So it's on an individual basis, but yeah.
because definitely the
Uh,
car scenes were like a little weird. And when they would do callbacks to things that happened before, it was a little
yeah.
weird. I was like, it didn't seem like that actually happened. I feel like you made that up.
Yeah, whenever like some characters reminisce, you can kind of tell. Like whenever Black Widow and Hawkeye reminisce in Avengers, it feels legitimate. Like it actually happened, and they're actually talking about something that happened before. Uh,
Right. I guess
and
that's
whenever
true.
she's mentioned, just like Budapest, you and I remember Budapest very differently.
Right. Um, but yeah, I think one of the scenes too I loved about was when he's walking into the Coliseum. That shit got me because I don't think I guess they kind of knew Obi-Wan would be there, but they weren't for sure. And he just looks at him, and I was like, oh shit. Um, and then he's like, I think we were coming to save you or something. Yeah, wonderful job that worked out or some shit. Oh my god. He delivered that shit so good. Just because of the fact that in the way he said it was so condescending and fucked up. And I was like, you haven't treated him that way the whole movie. But then I thought about it. The stakes were never this high. You
Yeah.
know? Like, he got himself killed. That's what you're thinking in your head. You stupid fucking Padawan. Why didn't you stay home? You know, you cost yourself your life. At least I could have died without you. You know, it's like, God
Yeah.
damn. And then he probably has some sort of like regret that if he didn't get caught, Anakin wouldn't get caught. So it's like he's
Exactly.
blaming himself, but he's taking it out on the Padawan. It was just like, holy
There's also
shit.
probably some level of like Obi-Wan not thinking he's old enough to train a Padawan because he's just became a fucking a Jedi like
Right.
right
And
before
only
he
because Qui-Gon died or forced it,
yeah.
he would have had, let's say, 5 more years outside of that.
Maybe, yeah.
So yeah, no, that shit. There was a lot of that, and that's why I loved it, man. I loved the relationship and how tenuous it was, and that's why I say a lot of this shit felt natural for me when their awkward lines would come, or like maybe the chemistry felt off. I thought that was honest not having chemistry because they were always like their relationship seemed tenuous, just because of the fact that like he didn't like him. He was like and I knew this from the beginning, and he says it from the very beginning. I got this impression, and then he actually said it at the end of the movie or sometime midway through. He was like, "Yeah, I'm stronger than him," essentially.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, he finally said it." Because I was like, "Yeah, he's got to feel like that. He's the fucking chosen one." So I
He doesn't
imagine
know
that
he's the chosen one though.
huh?
He doesn't know he's the chosen one though.
No, but I imagine that when he's like doing his training, right? Obi-Wan
Yeah.
teaches him something. I've been training for 20 years, Anakin. Pay attention. He does that shit in fucking 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, I imagine he's been having a lot of that. And then Obi-Wan's also insecure about his role as a master, too. And it's like, there's just so much going on, I think, of like
Hmm.
shit like that. That it's like when their relationship gets rocky or their lines feel like shitty, I'm like, yeah, they don't like each other. They're not actually friends, And that's kind of the situation
Is
I
it
get
this movie
sometimes.
or the third one where he says you're the closest thing I have to a father?
Right.
Is it
He
this
didn't.
one
He
or
definitely
the?
didn't say that this one.
Okay.
And that's why I think that if in number three it gets better, I'm still cool with that or kind of like it because it
Yeah.
feels like their relationship
Got
up
better.
until now, Anakin hasn't been honest until then.
Yeah.
He's been lying to himself. He's been putting on fucking a fake thing. He's been jealous as fuck of Obi-Wan, or he thinks Obi-Wan's jealous of him. Like, so their shit has not really been natural since up until now. But then it's after this movie, I imagine that Anakin gets promoted or whatever the fuck. He becomes like a badass general dude in the Clone Wars. He like he kind of grows into his own. So he's got a girlfriend now. He grows into a general. He's doing all these things. He's living his best life essentially. And then
Ah, so the moral of the story is get a girlfriend, and then you'll be promoted and do better in
yeah,
in your
sure.
work.
And then
Okay.
she dumps you and takes the kids and half your money. Uh, but yeah, no. I do
She
think
doesn't
that
take the
yeah.
kids. She dies.
And she dies. Yeah, I forgot. But yeah, I think
She
Anakin.
dies. Your brother gets your stepbrother gets your kid,
Right.
and some random douchebag from Alderaan gets your other kid.
Yeah, I think that if you look, he grew. Like he grew. Anakin grew. He
Hmm.
finally grew into his self. He started using like his mind,
Drugs.
his heart, his brain.
Oh,
He
right.
used everything. Whereas before he'd been super suffocated.
Hmm.
And I think Obi-Wan's been fine. Obi-Wan, I think he's been a little unsure of himself up until this point, up until like at the end of two. But I
Yeah.
think overall he's done a pretty good job, and a lot of the relationship issues they had were on Anakin's side. So I think by the time number three hits, not only all the stuff they did during the Clone Wars together, but just Anakin's a full dude now. He's grown. So he doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily feel insecure. He's not mad at Obi-Wan anymore. He doesn't have these issues. He's not suffering by being like single and wanting a girlfriend or compassion. Like there's so many things that he's grown into. So now his walls have come down and him and Obi-Wan can be closer.
Hmm.
It's good. It's good shit. And again, like I don't know if this was all planned or whatever, but somehow it turned out like this, and I fucking love it. Like everything, just kind of the drama in these ones are really good. Side note, that's in the next thing on my notes, which is fucking hilarious, is when they're walking up the stairs, when they get to Padme's planet, they dead ass just leave R2 behind.
Yeah.
They're walking up the stairs and he's like "Zzz, zzz," trying to get up, and they just walk away, just keep talking. I'm like, you pieces of shit. R2 can't go that fast.
He can fly up.
That shit made me laugh though. I don't. There's a little shit like that. It's just fucking. I love it, dude. And we said this before, but I guess I'll reinstate that from number one as well. All the background shit, all the tiny things, everything about this world is so good. Um, it feels so lived in. It feels so real, and all the characters, their actions, their interactions, everything is just so good. Let's see.
I'll say the plot does generally stop whenever they get caught, because then it just turns into a big battle, which is fine. I like the CG and the big battle and the lightsabers all fucking swinging
Oh, that
around.
shit was so cool. Um,
The one fucking Jedi, when he fucking pushes C-3PO, he force
yeah,
pushes
the dude with the
C-3PO
dreads
and he fucking
or the
smiles.
tentacles.
Yeah, he
That shit
fucking
was
smiles.
great.
That shit's fine. Uh,
Oh, that whole
that
scene,
shit's
that whole
funny.
sequence of events was fucking great. Because they're on the ship, right? And this is, again, R2 and 3PO's relationship is also one of the best things. He says, boop, 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 boop. And he was like, what? No. They don't. If they needed our help, they would ask us. Clearly, you don't know anything about human relations, because he's a fucking human relation droid.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that shit
But
is
then
so
R2's
good.
the one who fucking helps them out because they're actually like fucked.
Right. No, that shit is so good.
They still get caught in the end, but he did fucking stop them from dying. Padme was about to get a bunch of fucking molten
Right.
metal on her face.
Yeah, no, R2's been saving the day since number 1. I think he also saved
Oh,
the
yeah.
day in 4, 5, and 6 at some point, too.
Most of the story is kill the R2 droids because
If you're a Sith, your
if
one nemesis is R2.
nah, he helped the Sith. What do you mean? He saved Anakin 3 times.
Oh shit, you're right. Oops.
If he just let Anakin die in the first movie, he would have none of this would have happened.
That's true. Anakin's a Sith, or R2's a Sith Lord. We never knew. One thing too I have in my notes that is fucking small shit that I guess I would gloss over. It's easy to forget, but we already touched on this part. Is when Obi-Wan's fighting Jango. Obi-Wan lost his saber. You're not supposed to do that, young man.
Yeah.
I thought that shit was funny, just like a little karmic justice, like. But that's also the kind of shit that I like, is that he's suffering from the same shit he's fucking bitching to Anakin about. It just helps me reinforce the idea that Anakin doesn't respect him, and he's not. Maybe he doesn't think he's a good leader because of shit like that. That he's putting on a front.
That's actually a really good. I didn't really think about that, but that's actually really good because a lot of people, whenever they teach someone, they actually tell them a lot of the mistakes that they make themselves.
Right.
Mm.
So it's good. I'm like, yeah. So there he goes. He bitches to him, and if Anakin were to see that, he's gonna lose respect for him. But Obi-Wan is like trying to be a leader, and that's why he's trying to warn him. Don't do that like me. You know, be better than me. It's fucking cool. Also, Django's fucking sick. His whole fight scene and everything was so cool. I do have a question as far as the thing, and this is again, I want to know what was going through Obi-Wan's head. I don't think he was thinking clearly, or I'd like to, because when he followed, what's his name, he had a tracker on him. He could have let him go to his base, get situated, chill, do whatever, get some coffee, and then snuck in with a bunch of Jedi and got him. But he didn't
That's the
do
shit
that.
I'm talking about. And he just ran in.
And then I also thought about it to like counter that point. I was like, well, he doesn't know where his base is, right? Well, he knows that he had a base in Camino, but he doesn't know like where he's going. And Obi-Wan is just a single dude. So if he's going to like a well-fortified like place where there's a bunch of fucking bad guys, he won't be able to follow him. So I think he was trying to stop him before he got back up, essentially. Ooh, excuse me.
But he didn't know he was getting back up, right?
But he couldn't know that. That's what I'm saying. I think that's why he made that choice. He was like, I don't know where he's going, but if he goes somewhere and gets any amount of backup, I can't fight anymore, and I need this guy.
But he still has the tracker. So
That's
he
what I
can
mean,
literally
though,
go get. But he still has the tracker on his ship, so he can still go get the Jedis and then go in reinforced.
That's true, but look at what happened. They did exactly that, and they got fucked.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, they did. They were all going to die.
Yeah, well, they got the clones after.
But
Like
he
it
didn't
doesn't
know
matter.
that.
He didn't know they were gonna get fucked. He should have still like the smart idea is still to get the fucking backup.
I don't know, because that's the thing is he might have known that. Because think about it. If like, you know, they have an army, right?
And why did he even ask for help?
No, I think he just wanted to let them know that's what was going on. Did he say come send help, or did he just say just let the council know here's what's going on? They have an army.
I'm not sure, actually.
I'm pretty sure it was just like, hey, they have an army. Get fucked. Like, be careful. Oh, he told him about Dooku. He told him about... No, not Dooku. Yeah. No.
He had already told him about the army, but the clone army.
Mm-hmm.
And then Yoda went to go get that. And Windu decided he was gonna go help Obi-Wan with a bunch of reinforcements. But I don't remember if Obi-Wan asked for reinforcements or not. But he did ask Anakin to retransmit to the council.
Right, and he also didn't plan on getting attacked. As well.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, he had seen. Yeah, no, because he knew about Dooku. So that's the thing. See, he was just trying to let them know because he had snuck in and snuck back out at this point. Because he snuck in.
Did he mention Dooku to them?
Huh?
Did he mention Dooku to them? Yeah.
Maybe he mentioned mysterious figure. Because he listened in on their meeting, right? That was him, right? Wasn't it?
Yes.
He listened in on their whole meeting and was like, "Oh shit, here's what they're planning." Yeah, that's what he told him. He was like, he already has this and this and this allegiance. He was like, he's working with him. Be prepared. But I don't think he asked for any help. He did let them know where he was, I think, at that point, or they tracked
Hmm.
it. But then, yeah, he couldn't reach them, so he told Anakin, and then Anakin forwarded it. But I don't think
Hmm.
he wanted Anakin to come or the Jedi, because I think he may have known
Well, he
they were gonna.
definitely didn't want Anakin to come, but I'm not.
No.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't remember if he
Right.
asked them.
I guess I could go either way. But I
Yeah.
imagine though, like it shows that behind the scenes how weak the Jedi are, and well, they mentioned it throughout the course of the movie, right? They were like, we don't have enough Jedi to fight a war. We're peacekeepers, not soldiers. And they mentioned that a couple times that if they bring an army, we can't stop it. And he knows that they have droid armies, and that if he's going to a place in line with the bad guys are going to have a droid army.
They shouldn't even be getting involved in all this stuff. They're supposed to be just peacekeepers, but they're acting like fucking military police or fucking spies and shit.
Yes, that's why I like it. Because like you're not supposed to do that, but they are. But they feel like their
But
backs
like I
against
said,
the
like
wall.
since like episode 1 to 2 to 3, it's been progressively like binding the Jedi more into the Republic as like their army, their
Right.
private army. So,
Because they didn't think they were until shit hit the fan.
hmm
And that's what I like about it. Because they thought they were these things or these people or this whatever. But then as shit got more and more and more closer to the fan,
they still
then
didn't even realize that. I said like they still thought they were doing the right thing as well. Like it goes in line with like my original theory that the Jedi were still corrupt. Uh, like they may have not been using quote unquote the dark side of the Force, but they were not being true Jedis.
well,
Uh,
they were misguided, right?
yeah,
Because first they were like, we're peacekeepers, we don't do this stuff. And then even then they're trying to hold on to that when they say, we can't fight an army. Number one, we don't have the strength, but
they
number
they
two,
call themselves generals.
by the third one, yes.
General
No,
Kenobi.
no, in the
I
third one
know.
they do.
Yeah,
But that's what
but
I'm
they're
trying to
still
get to
pretending
is
like
that,
they're just like peacekeepers at that point. They still pretend like they're not.
yeah, that's what I like about it. Because in number two, they're trying to hold on and stay out of it. They're like, no, you need an army. We don't do that. That's not us. We're a Jedi. We don't do that shit. And even if we wanted to, we're not strong enough to fight back. So you're gonna
Obi-Wan made
lose.
Yoda made that call. Ah, fuck it, let's take this army.
Right?
Uh,
Which is nice because he's doing what he should. He's keeping them out of it. Or trying to.
but they're an army for the Jedi.
No, they're
That's
army
what
for the Republic.
they assume is for the Jedi.
But that was when it was bought. But that's not who gets it. He gave it to the Republic. They even said that they're like the
Sure.
Republic army.
Hmm.
So it's like he gave. I think Yoda gave the army to them, and that was his
Yeah,
idea of okay, we're gonna be separate. Now you have an army. You don't need us. And then what did they do?
yeah.
Can you help us? Well, yeah, we're the good guys. We're gonna stop innocents from dying. So yeah, I'll come help you on this battlefield. And then it just fucking devolves. Before they
Yeah.
knew it, they just slowly got caught up in the bullshit. And that was again steps closer and closer to their downfall.
Hmm.
And it's so good because you're right. Like you're not supposed to do that. Then they do it anyway. And that's all these little compromises here, little compromise there, and all these slowly shifting transitions into different roles and positions and
Whoa, I
the
like
drama.
compromises.
Huh?
I said, whoa, slow your roll there. You're saying don't compromise. I like we need compromise.
No, but that's what I
We
mean.
don't
That's
need.
what compromise sometimes leads you to this leads to the dark side or
Yeah,
leads to getting fucked up. Um,
yeah,
and that's what like they weren't supposed to do that. So I thought that was cool. Ultimately, what happened with them and all that shit. But yeah, so
yeah.
that's back to where we started. I think that's what he was thinking. He knew that you can't just the Jedi's not an army. They're not going to come in there and bust him out if that dude gets in there and he has shelter from like an army.
Hmm.
So like, and also they're not going to wage war. The Jedi aren't a war force. So he's thinking politically as well. I need to do this silently and quick.
Hmm.
So I think it does make sense that he made that choice. But I do remember when he first did it, I was like, that's not smart. You shouldn't do that. But then it was like, well, that's his only course of action if he doesn't want to start a war or like let that dude get to a fortified position where he can't get
Yeah.
him out. Um,
Hmm.
so I was cool with it, but I did think at first I was like one of those things, and that's why I love it. It's like, why would he do that? But that's what you should be asking when you watch a character do something in a movie. It shouldn't be, oh, that was the right choice given the script. It should be like, why the fuck would you do that? Because that's, and then think about, do the character's motives support that? Is there evidence that that would be a logical option in that situation? And that's kind of the dissection that I think you have to do to critique a character.
Hmm.
By the way, is that the same house that Luke was raised in, where Anakin went?
Yeah.
So how did they get him, Leia, or not Leia? What's her, I guess
How
Padme.
did they get Luke?
So Padme knew about the. Oh yeah, Padme knew about that place, and it was a
No,
safe
Obi-Wan.
place.
Obi-Wan.
Oh, Obi Wan.
Padme
Obi
dies
Wan had
at
never
the end
been
of
there.
3. He knows Anakin's got family there.
How?
from Anakin.
Maybe he just went there and asked about the Skywalker family, I guess.
He does, or Yoda mentions in 3 at the very end. He says, to his family, the boy goes, and Obi-Wan says, "What about the girl?" And then Bail goes, "Uh, me and my wife have always wanted a little girl." No, wait, that one was first. They said, "What do we do with the children?" And then Bail says, "Me and my wife always wanted. We'll take the girl. Me and my wife have always wanted to have a girl."
Right.
And and then Obi-Wan says, "I'll take the boy to his family then," or something like that. Or Yoda says it. I can't remember. One of them says, "Take the boy to his family then." Uh,
Right.
on
Okay.
Tatooine.
Close enough.
Uh, I'm pretty sure originally they were like when he wrote the original trilogy, they were supposed to be his blood aunt and uncle, but I'm not sure.
Right.
Uh,
Either way,
they're not
nitpicky.
Skywalkers, they're Lars. Uh,
Yeah, technically they're
uh,
not Skywalkers. He wouldn't even have that name if the marriage things worked the way they do in our world. And you could
yeah,
say, well, this is not
he'd
our
be he'd
world,
be.
but whatever.
Well, I mean, he introduced himself as Owen Lars to Anakin.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, number 2
I
when
guess
he
we
when
found
he
a
showed up.
continuity error there.
Do it.
I guess we found a little continuity error. Not a big deal.
Well, no, they never refer to themselves as Skywalkers in the original trilogy. Anyways, they just refer to Luke as Skywalker, but they never refer to
Oh,
his.
that's
They never
cool.
refer to Owen or he just called him Aunt Owen or Uncle Owen and Aunt
Oh
Beru.
yeah,
I don't
he did
remember.
say uncle and yeah,
He never yeah, they were never referred to as Skywalkers. So
cool.
technically, it's not a retcon.
That's cool. I like
uh,
that.
yeah,
Also they just straight up jacked 3PO when they left that planet.
yeah.
No
Anakin did
questions.
just
Like, hey,
could
he's
have
coming with us now. Like,
created him. That's fair. He created him to help his mom around the house. His mom died.
I guess,
Uh,
but it was just funny though. They
this
just
is my droid. I made him. Um, I'm taking him home with
right.
me.
No conversation. Nothing. We didn't even just boop. He's coming with me, asshole. Like, oh,
I
that shit
feel
was
like there
funny.
should have been a little bit of something just that because Owen talked about in the original trilogy, Owen did talk about Luke's father like he knew him, so he's a little he has a little bit of his father in him, or his mother said that, or yeah, Beru said that I think. Too much of his father in him, I think, and he
Right.
was like, yeah,
And they only know
yeah,
Anakin is an angry shitter,
right.
so
Uh,
that makes sense. Um. Also, so did Palpatine just grab Dooku like the moment Maul died?
no fucking idea.
Cause
I don't
it
know.
shows up
I
and
feel
it's
like
like
he's been working with. I feel like he was a secret apprentice the whole time,
right. Cause otherwise it
but.
seems a little weird that he would have just jumped on board because of the whole rule of two bullshit. And I was like, so he's just immediately jumped on board this the moment that Maul died. It was just weird for me because 10 years ago is when they ordered the clones. 10 years ago is when Maul died, which means Dooku had to have been in league with him at that point.
Yep.
And I was like, I don't know. Now I'm not. I don't have a problem with him recruiting Dooku because Dooku, and again, why we didn't get into this, but somehow we got distracted from this point when they mentioned him used to being a Jedi. They
Mhm.
said something midway through. I think Obi-Wan mentions it about how difficult it is, if not impossible, to leave the Jedi Order, right?
Mhm.
And Dooku just got to walk away. Like
He became a politician, so yeah.
it was just interesting to me. I'm like, so Dooku just up and left?
Yeah.
Like they didn't
He
question it. They're
retired.
just like, he's good, he's fine. He used to be a
Well,
Jedi. He's
he was becoming a politician, so it became he became compromised essentially, because apparently Jedi's don't trust politicians.
which makes sense.
Uh,
They're fucking nasty, sleazy bastards who want to better
so
themselves
when he went
normally.
into politics, they were like, "All right, well, you're not gonna be a Jedi anymore." He's like, "Okay, fine."
Right, which is cool with
Ex-
me. It just
Relinquish your
seems
lightsaber now. Okay.
it just seems so
So
easy to break, right? Because then
yeah.
all Luke would or Luke all Anakin would have to do is okay, I'm a politician now. All right,
I mean, shit.
see ya.
Yeah, but he wanted to be a Jedi. That's the thing. Is the confliction. I don't know. The confliction in his heart is I want to be the greatest Jedi that ever exists, but I also want to marry this girl.
Right,
You
and
can't
also
have this girl and be a
maybe Obi
Jedi.
Wan was exaggerating it, and this is what I like again. Maybe it's not like that, but it's sort of the stupid shit people do. It's like you can't do that, and it's like no, I most certainly can. Because he made us, he said that's for life. You know, you devote your whole life to this. You can't just stop doing that. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Oh,
well, no, he can. There's a precedent. People do it all the time. There's plenty of Jedi's who
yeah.
just leave,
Yep.
and we don't see that. So I guess it's like in my mind, I just trusted what Obi-Wan said that it was almost impossible to leave. But then you hear in the same movie about Dooku just up and did it one day. And if anything, that it actually plays more into the shit I've been saying the whole time. It just shows all these fucking inconsistencies, and shows more reason for Anakin to be pissed at their system. Because it's like he's been told his whole
I mean,
life.
that's what I've always been saying is that the system is fucked, and yeah, definitely
Right.
Anakin.
Because he gets told by Obi-Wan, no, this is for life. No one gets out, man. And then he just probably looks at Dooku and then maybe does more research and finds all these other fuckers who just up and left. It's like, so,
Yeah, but
I
he
couldn't
wants
have a
to be a
girlfriend?
Jedi. Is the thing. It's not. It's not that he doesn't think he can leave. He wants to be a Jedi. That's what I'm saying. He
But
wants to be a
he could have
Jedi.
left and still trained as well.
Yes, but he wants to be a Jedi. He wants to be. He wants the status. He doesn't want to just have power and not be.
Mm,
Have people look up to him and go, "Ah, Master Jedi, how
right.
are you?"
I guess, yeah, he's
He
a little
likes
arrogant.
that.
Makes sense.
Yeah, he likes the because remember in number 3, he wants the title of Master. It's not enough that he's on the council. He wants to be called Master Skywalker.
Right. That's true. He is fucking arrogant.
Yeah,
But
he can leave whenever the hell he wants. He can say, "Hey, I'm banging Padme. Bye.
right.
I'll
Well, I
leave.
guess
Here's my lightsaber."
it always seemed like he wasn't able to do that.
Yeah, it always seemed like it because that's what he wants. He wants to be a Jedi. He doesn't want to just have the powers. He wants to be Master Skywalker, the greatest Jedi that's ever existed. And if it turns out, oh, he has attachment to the world, blah blah blah. Oh, well then he guess he's not such a great Jedi after all.
Right. That makes sense. Also, in the scene back in Genosha, there was like hundreds of those fucking dudes just sleeping in little holes in the wall. What the fuck was that?
That's where they sleep.
You think so? Just on a conveyor belt where they make droids?
Yeah.
Here's
why
your
not?
bedroom right next to this
That's where they
conveyor belt.
work. That's where they. Oh, they have they wake up every day, get to work, and then they go back to sleep in their holes
They
right
don't
there.
work
They don't.
down there. They had guns. They were like guards or something.
No. They do both. They do double.
Bro,
In the
no.
morning they work. The morning they work on the droid. In the afternoon they're guards for the assembly line.
Whatever, I guess. That shit was kind
They
of
take
funny though.
naps in between shifts.
It was a little weird, that one. Also, same fucking scene. Why the fuck did they both just run down the assembly line? At no
Is it
point
down?
did they ever think to go left or right.
Impossible.
And I guess that maybe they're fucking freaking out, right? And this is why I say, in that situation, if you are freaking the fuck out, you're probably not going to think to like jump on the arm of one of the robots or whatever, And they did show there was
He didn't
gaps.
think about cutting off the arms of the robots at one point, but that's when his lightsaber got cut in half.
Right. So it's like I can get the stress, right? So there's a lot of stress that plays into that, but I did think it was funny. I'm like, no, don't do that. But oh yeah, Padme, she killed me when they were, and I got this is one of the only lines by her. And this, I remember earlier I mentioned like she had a line or lines. This is the only one I had written down. When they're about to go die, she said, "I've been dying ever since you came back into my life."
Ugh.
No, you haven't. You have not. You only
Soap opera drama.
That shit killed me. I'm like, you only fell for him once you got to know the new him and you spent time with him for the last couple weeks. Like, you don't.
But she said otherwise, Trey. You didn't know. She's been dying the whole time.
No! The look of disgust she gave him when he was trying to be like some arrogant kid throwing the moves at her when they first got reconnected. That was a genuine look of disgust. She had no interest in him at that point. And I loved it. That was what made it so good, because he also acted weird.
She was disgusted at herself for having feelings for somebody she knew since he was like a little baby.
No, I'm not buying that one. That's the only one where she got me, because I liked how natural it felt, even since the beginning of him being awkward and stupid and her genuinely not liking him until she got to know him, and him stop being weird when they finally spent time together and he stopped trying to impress her. Like,
What are they, 9 years apart?
something like
something
10,
like
9 or 10, it's close around there.
No, she was 15. He was 8 or 9, so like 6. Yeah.
Oh, not that much.
6. Yeah, she's like 6 years older.
That's close
6,
enough.
7. Yeah.
Let's see, what else we got?
Um,
Oh yeah, is the slave dude who had Annie from Genosha?
no, wait, no, is he? No.
He flies
He
and has
doesn't look
he's like a flying
Yeah,
bug
but he
dude.
looks different from them, doesn't he?
He has the nose, the little elephant nose, right?
He might be a different ethnicity, but he might be from Genosha too, right?
Right.
What was his fucking name? Wako? Wano?
No idea.
Watto.
Watto?
Watto.
Got you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was wondering that though, because he has the same bug wings and similar like look a little bit, but the face is different. He's not as buggy.
Toydarian? He's not Genoshan.
Oh, okay. The monsters in the Colosseum, by the way, are fucking awesome. Dude, those three monsters are
I'm
so
talking about
cool.
Genoshan. My computer says Genshin Impact. No, I've never played that game in my life.
Genshin, and well, now you have to. They seen you searched for it, so that's it. Your fucking life is over. Um, um, but yeah, those three monsters are fucking awesome. They just look so cool. The effects are so beautiful. Like they're just sick. Like they're super scary, except the
Wait,
bull
what?
thing. Um, my favorite's the big Crystal Walker thing, or not Crystal Walker. I say that because it reminds me of Bomberman 64. There was like a big
Yeah.
spider crystal monster in the ice level that was to remind me of. I fucking love that body style of like a monster.
Yeah, no, their wings are very different. They have like bug-like wings. His wings are like
Flappies.
yeah, like weird flappy bat wings. Uh,
Gotcha. Speaking of that monster fight, did she really hurt that cat beast with her kick?
uh,
Cause like she just spins around, kicks it, and it just falls to the ground like it almost died. It had like some broken ribs. I was like, what? Padme.
yeah, she's strong.
I guess so. Also, her
Stronger than the
fucking
force she is. You
her
don't know.
sky like her scar on her back or whatever. She's like bleeding from these giant
Yeah.
claws, and then she's just like that shit just like healed, I guess.
Yeah.
Um. Also, they left R2 and 3PO behind,
Yeah, they did.
like completely. They were on the
Yeah.
battlefield and everyone had cleared out. Like they just left them. Like at what point did they ever find them? Unless they just like confiscated that planet. Like unless the Republic said, "Hey, this is our planet now," and they found
Probably.
them at that point,
You're in league with separatists. We
right?
um
The machinery in that movie is sick, by the way. Every single like tank and fucking all the machines and that's God, they're so fucking
Jesus,
cool.
man.
The twisted metal double wheeled rocket launcher things,
Yeah.
fucking cool. The big spider walker things are fucking cool. Like mostly the bad guy things. The little bubble guns. I fucking love that shit. I don't know. It's just the noise, I guess. It's just such a fucking cool weapon.
Sheer killing.
That shit was awesome. Also, Anakin fighting with two sabers for like the 30 seconds or 5
Uh-oh.
seconds
Right.
was some of the coolest shit I've
Yeah, I
ever
love
seen in
that
my
part.
life.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It was fucking sick. It was some of the best lightsaber action I've seen since actually Obi-Wan went fucking ham after Qui-Gon died. Cuz he just picks that shit up and bow 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 and just fucking goes nuts like toe to toe with Dooku. Oh my god. That shit was cool. Also they really showed how fucking badass Dooku was with a lightsaber. Motherfucker's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
he just genuinely made them look like fucking children. Like, it made them look like they were just fucking scrubs. Like, beat the shit out of both of them. I also appreciate that he didn't like kill Obi-Wan or like injure him significantly.
Mhm.
I really appreciate
Yeah.
that because he was thinking, okay, look, I'm gonna disarm these guys. I don't have to hurt him. Obi-Wan, he still wanted Obi-Wan to be on his side, and he thought he could get him to come over. So I think that he did that on purpose.
Yeah.
And then when he saw how fucking feral Anakin was, nah, we gotta shut this kid up, dude. Boom! Just off with his arm immediately.
That's crazy. Man, you could have killed him. That slash he did. I said you could have easily just fucking cut him in half. Come on.
Yes. I think he didn't want to. I think he just was like, okay,
Yeah,
let me.
my guy is still he was conflicted, so he definitely didn't want to.
Right. He thought that Obi-Wan might still join him, so he didn't want to hurt him too bad. But I think he needed to just get Anakin out of the way without killing him, so him and Obi-Wan could talk, kind of thing.
They should just fucking kill Anakin.
But yeah, that's actually everything I had in the notes.
What did we skip over anything?
This movie's fucking sick. We probably missed a couple things, but I don't think so.
That was the wedding, the fucking droids, were the witness.
That's funny.
No idea. Yo, C-3PO is fucking the goat. Then he never fucking snitched or said anything.
That's true,
No one can understand R2 except for fucking Anakin. So
right?
yeah,
Or 3PO.
yeah, or and 3PO, yeah,
I guess other droids technically, but
yeah.
yeah, no,
He's
3PO
a
is the
rocket
man.
droid, anyways.
But also,
R-
3PO may not know it's a problem,
Oh yeah, maybe.
because he's super not ignorant, but innocent. I
But
guess.
he's an expert in human droid relations.
Yeah,
uh,
right. So maybe he doesn't think it's suspect, or he wouldn't think it's a problem, right? It's
I
kind of
guess.
like I wouldn't tell you that I went and got gas the other day, or that I did something that I always do. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, they got married. People do that. It's a regular custom across the galaxy. Why would I bring it up to anybody? They probably already know.
True. Yeah.
You know, you don't just go spouting facts that people probably already know.
I feel like 3PO would. He's pretty stupid and ignorant.
A little
Uh,
bit, but he's also like he makes jokes and quips and stuff in the moment. So if that never came up in conversation or was relevant, because all of his stupid stuff is usually when it's happening, he's like, "Oh dear, it seems like this is happening." It's like, no shit, asshole.
so everyone fucking knows. He's just been acting like a retard. Uh, acting
Maybe
like oblivious, like he don't know nothing.
it's
Uh,
possible. That'd be pretty funny.
I mean, he kind of says it in three. Uh, but he knows that they live together. So there's that. He knows Anakin's a horny teenager for her back in two. Uh,
Right. I
they
think.
embraced at the end of this movie, like before, like after Anakin got his arm cut off.
Right.
Whenever she showed up, they embraced, not like friends.
Right. That's true. I do think Obi-Wan has known, um,
Yeah,
but he's not. He can't say anything. He would never do that, you know.
yeah, he wouldn't do that to him.
And I
Uh,
think that's yeah. I mean, you were like a brother to me, you know.
and he knows that, like, he remembers that fucking Qui-Gon always like defied the council in several ways. Uh,
Right.
so
And I also he's very intelligent. I
yeah,
think he also can be maybe is seeing some of the problems with the directions they've been going in or whatever, you know. I think he may
I'm
not
not
have
sure
as
because he's
much.
very adherent to the code.
Think so?
Yeah, because he ends up becoming a master, and he's very much like by the book kind of uh
So
Jedi.
it's just for Anakin.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
the blind spot for him.
Right.
Uh,
Which makes sense. I mean, because you got to wonder how many times has he actually saved his life,
true.
right? Because we do
Yeah.
know, at least based on what my interpretation is, that
Maybe say Obi-Wan has connections, or he has attachments. Like, what's his name? He's got the friend from fucking the bar or the diner. It's his
right.
buddy.
We don't know
That's
how
his
close they
boy.
were, but he had something, right?
Yeah.
Well, and this is what I'm thinking too is that Anakin never truly was like close to him up until maybe like after the end of number two, towards the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
But I think Obi-Wan was always close to him. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's how like his relationship has always been like that.
Hmm.
And I think it's also similar. It's similar always to like almost a real older brother younger brother relationship.
Hmm.
It's like the older brother. It's like the younger one might think, yeah, screw you. You're just old and think you're better than me and pick on me or you beat me in sports
Yeah.
and I don't like you and you never liked me. But then it's like the older brother the whole time has like so much fucking love, and then
Hmm.
like maybe the younger one doesn't notice that until they get older.
True.
So I think that's what could be happening too. Is that the reason his soft spot exists, whereas for Anakin it may not be there as much. Considering how quickly he was gonna like betray him, and like was mad at him in the third one.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like not quickly. It wasn't quickly. I don't get me wrong. I guess there was still. It was very hard for Anakin to do that, but I don't think Obi-Wan could have done that, whereas Anakin could, because his
Yeah.
relationship didn't necessarily grow up until after all of his problems and his emotions got fixed. But by then, it was a little bit fractured, because then he was growing apart from Obi-Wan because of the fact that, yeah, I got Padme now. I got new friends now. I'm a general now. I'm moving up on my career now. You know what I mean? I don't need you anymore, kind of thing. It's like, so even though the relationship got much closer, I think from Clone Wars to 3, it's it was never the same on his side
Attack of
as
the
it
Clones.
was Obi-Wan's.
But
Huh?
Attack of the Clones.
Yeah. Um,
Clone Wars is the cartoon, but yeah,
no, but that's what I
it's in
mean. Because
between two.
but I don't count Clone Wars because I think or Attack of the Clones, because Attack of the Clones they weren't very close.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
he didn't even deal with his trauma until by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's not
Okay.
until after that that their relationship starts to grow, and then it's
Ah.
like, but he has Padme and shit, so he's not going to confide into Obi-Wan the way he would normally if he didn't have Padme
Yeah.
as well. I don't know.
Okay.
But anyway, the movie's fucking phenomenal. I think so far I'm actually really impressed with it because it's better than number one, and I gave number one pretty good marks.
I still like number one more.
Just because of the drama. Also the action's fucking awesome. All the fight scenes. No, there's not that much Jedi fight scene, but then again, there wasn't that much in number one, so they kind of tie. This one has the big Jedi
I
battle,
don't
which
know.
is
The
cool.
choreography fight with Maul is still, I think it's still better than the big Jedi battle. I love that fight with Maul.
I
So
don't
good.
like. I think you're just biased because you like Maul.
No. I just
Because
think it was more well choreographed. The fight. I mean, I also prefer intimate fucking fights between two characters more than I like a big giant battle. Uh,
Let's see. What about all
historically,
the sequences with Dooku?
they were fine. I don't think they were that great.
What was
And
wrong with them?
I love Christopher Lee. So there's a I don't know. It just wasn't. It wouldn't. The battle wasn't filled with as much character, I guess, for me as the fight with Maul. Like the fucking whoever the fucking stunt choreographer was for fucking one, they should have rehired him for two
Hmm.
because that fucker knew his shit because it was very characterized their fighting. There's a lot of their personality in that fight showed more.
It
The only
also
one personality you could really tell was like Anakin's from like the fighting and
right when he
two.
grabbed the double swords. Oh my god,
Yeah, that was really good.
that
It
shit
was like
made my whole
all
fucking
yeah,
day.
yeah.
That's why I give it a bonus because it's like not only did we get fucking Anakin's bit, which was fucking amazingly choreographed and super awesome, but then we got Yoda's whole bit, which I thought was really cool. But that I give them so much credit for that. I'd put them on equal terms, but for different reasons. Because number one, the fight scene was a lot more drawn out. You got a lot more moments of them clashing swords.
Mhm.
Whereas in two, they run in, Obi-Wan's down, oh, Anakin fights, Anakin's down. Uh, and then Yoda shows up and they have a really. Oh, by the way, I forgot that part. Yoda's fucking No, this one, it trumps it. Sorry. Yoda is fucking insane. Oh my god, I fucking love
I'm
it.
sure you'll just fight in the third one, honestly. So,
I don't remember it.
okay.
But this is fucking insane. He jumps up. He had to have slashed him like maybe 15, 20 times in like 3, 4
He didn't
seconds.
slash him at all. He blocked every single one.
But you know what I mean. Like,
He attempted to slash him.
I've never seen anyone come with a flurry of blows that way. And you know how hard they must have been to block? Because it's coming at a weird angle because he's below you, but he's coming left, right, down, left, right, up. Like, it's fucking insane how fast and how skilled you have to be with the lightsaber to block all those. Fucking awesome. No, that shit was cool, and I get that it was, like people bitch, oh, it's CG, but I don't. It was so fucking awesome. Like I don't know how can you take that away from that.
I like it. I'm just saying that I like the Maul fight more.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking
Yeah.
about general haters. Like
Okay.
I guess that it came off wrong, yeah, because if you didn't know the context in my brain, you would have just heard what I said, and it could
Yeah,
have
when
felt like
we were talking about how much I like the first one more
right,
is what
right.
we were
I
talking
made
about.
a complete leap there. That's my fault. But yeah, no, I think for a lot of people, it's like they bitch about CG in every movie that's ever had it ever, and it's
Yeah.
like that
Well, those
fight
people are just gonna hate on CG no matter what. So
right,
like
because that
they're
fight was
irrelevant
so
regardless.
fucking good.
There's no changing their mind. So it's like the people who are like practical effects.
Right.
They're not gonna change their mind no matter what. No matter how beautiful a scene that or how beautiful a fucking anything you show them that's in CG, they'll be like, nah.
Right. Also, I think too the end of the Darth Maul fight sucked. Back to like your direct shit.
No, when he starts like swinging his shit. No,
Uh,
I'm talking about before that. Like the whole fight before he's hanging off the fucking edge.
right. Because that shit
Yeah.
right there just puts a sour taste. Whereas like the entirety of the second one, all their fights from the end of Luke's or not Luke, the end of where Anakin does the double shit, all the way through Yoda, was fucking phenomenal.
Well, I mean, but like again, there's the points. I'm like, Dooku could have just killed Yoda there. He could have killed Anakin there. Yeah, sure, his character conflicted maybe, but fucking shit, man.
He's
There's so
not a
many
bad
points that you can
guy.
just point out and be like, nah. Uh, at this point, the fucking you're in the shit. Might as well go
No,
all
he's
in.
trying to hold on. He's still a good guy.
Is he though?
Yes, well, I mean, this is pulling in the extra shit, but all he wants to do is like just be a ruler of planets and shit and like give justice. Because he has a planet that he runs, I think, or at least a city. And it's like that's all he wants is
Oh,
a
what
leader,
planet?
huh?
What planet?
His home. He's like the leader of like a whole people.
Which people?
I can't remember.
Uh,
Let me Google it.
he, he's just a politician, right? He's not a. Is he? Okay, is he actually a count, or is that just like a title, like queen? Because they like elect their queen in Naboo. So I thought they just elected their count. Count Dooku.
It says here he's head of state of the Confederacy of Independent Systems.
I assume those are the separatists.
Probably. I remember in like one book. It was like in one of his books. He had like a people that he ruled,
Yeah, he's
but like it was a specific planet though.
Sereno is the one I found.
Oh, Sereno. Okay.
How Sereno during the Clone Wars was aligned with the Confederacy of Independent Systems, the leader of which was Sereno-born Count Dooku. The Imperial era of the planet was occupied by the Galactic Empire. Blah 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 blah.
Because I remember him like being the way the story read was that he was on his planet, and the Jedi didn't save them, right? Like the
Yeah,
Republic
because
didn't save
they're in the
them.
outer they're in the outer rim. So I
So
assume
he
that
came to
that's
power.
why he's joining with the Separatists, is because something about his planet is being like harassed by some kind of other foreign entity, and
Right,
the
but
Republic's
that
not
was when
doing
he.
anything, and anything that they would have done to retaliate would probably have been illegal. So he just said, "Fuck it, whatever. We're just gonna not rebel, but like leave. We're gonna what's the word? Secede from the Republic."
Right, and that's what I mean is that he was that he after that he worked his way to be the leader or
Yeah,
maybe
but
what
that's
he
added
was.
stuff. But like, yeah, I
So I
guess
guess when I say his planet, he's like the head of state or whatever the fuck. It's not his. He's not
I
like
don't recall well, he's the leader of this planet, apparently. So
um
don't know if they're if they elect him in like they do with the Queen of
right,
Naboo. I was it could be like Alderaan, where Alderaan is actually a hereditary monarchy. But
right.
yeah,
Either
so
way, I guess that's why I brought it up is the fact that like he just wanted to like do that. So he didn't want to kill Jedi. He didn't want to do
yeah,
those
but
things.
it'd be in the interest of his people. If these Jedi died, there'd be less Jedi to fucking
But Jedi's are good
dispute his.
guys.
Yes, but it would if they were dead, there'd be less people to dispute their legitimacy to secede.
I don't think that's true though, because the Jedi wouldn't stop them from doing that. The
They
Jedi are
did.
just
They do. That's the whole fucking conflict in this movie.
no. He mentions the Republic, not the Jedi.
Yes, but the Jedi work for the Republic.
Well, they're not supposed to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're not supposed to, but they do, so might as well just fucking kill them.
But he was a Jedi. He knows what they stand for. He knows that if he can fix this political situation and get rid of the Republic and overthrow the system, when the Jedi are there when it's
Yes.
over, they'll be on his side for justice and good stuff.
I guess, but he already fucking had a lot of people kill Jedi
Oh no,
anyways
he's
during that
blinded. He's
fight.
stupid. They're not going to be his friend after that. But he thinks they might. That's what I'm saying. I think he's just ignorant.
You're
Like,
thinking he thinks they might.
you know, I mean, he said it when he wants. Who kind of rational person thinks Obi-Wan of all people is going to join you?
Uh, his dumbass. But
That's
after
what I'm
that,
saying.
yeah, but after what happened, nah, I'm pretty sure he would have realized. All right, never mind. He thought because he didn't know Obi-Wan at that point. He knew he was his
That's true.
apprentice's
Because he said, I heard
apprentice.
so much about you. I
He's
heard
his
high things.
he's his grand apprentice, I guess, if you will. So
Yeah.
he knew Qui-Gon's reputation, so he probably assumed that Qui-Gon taught Obi-Wan to be like
Him.
how Qui-Gon is,
Right.
defiant of the Jedi Council and true to the Jedi way of thinking.
Right.
But then he found out that no, this fucker's obstinate and is a fucking Boy Scout and follows the rigid structure that Yoda created.
I think he still believed it though. That's why he didn't kill him,
I don't think so.
and that's why
I
he
think
was much
after-
more harsh on Anakin.
Well, he was already fucking ordering him to die. He was already fucking trying to kill him in the fighting pit.
But that was because he had to. He was in front of all the other bad guys. He would have gave away his thing.
Oh my god.
I'm serious. He would have.
Nah. He already ordered him to die. I don't believe that at that point. He was already ordering Anakin and him to die.
He mentions when he leaves the room, it's going to be hard to get your release. I think he meant that. Like, he can't
He
just.
might have.
He can't give
He
up
might have.
himself. Like, he doesn't want the. He wants secretly to work with the Jedi, but he can't just do that. You know, he would have to do it behind closed doors with only a
I guess.
select amount of people, and that's why he was like, I think he would have let Obi-Wan go, and he wouldn't even had him chained up if he had free reign of that planet. But he's just another guy. I mean, technically he's like a political leader, but if that makes sense, like he is just another guy at these meetings. You know, he
Yeah.
can't just show his hand. But they were in a secluded environment. He could do whatever he wanted
Yeah.
and say whatever.
I guess. Fair.
No, you're right. I think a smarter person who was more committed or like realized what the fuck was going on probably
Yeah.
should have followed through. Because if you do think, for example, that Yoda can come, Yoda was his master, though. You can't
That
do
was a
that.
little harder. I don't think he could have killed Yoda, but
Yoda's his fucking
Anakin,
master.
Anakin's his great grand his great grand apprentice. Not
Well,
kill
he
that
showed
fucker.
no concern for Anakin. He chopped that fucker's arm off. He was like, "Hey, get fucked, asshole."
Should just cut him in half.
He probably could have, but I don't think he's that ruthless. But I think that shows his concern, right? He
Yeah.
didn't even strike Yoda. He only defended because he has the most respect. He kind of gave Obi-Wan a warning.
He shot him with lightning.
He knew he would block it. Um,
Sure.
so it's like,
Because I've grown far stronger than you, and then he was surprised that he blocked it.
yeah, but I don't know if that was enough to kill him also, because you've seen how much lightning Palpatine took, and all he did was get nasty. I guess that was, that would beg the question: what would it take to kill someone with that kind of
It was
lightning?
ricochet lightning, but I
Because
imagine
also
that's...
Luke, or what was it called? Darth fucking took a bunch of lightning too, and Vader took a bunch of lightning in 6.
Hey, he died.
Um, but I guess he took a lot of lightning, if that makes sense.
Yeah, he was dying.
So it's like I don't know how much it takes to kill a person.
Anakin was about to take, or Luke went to go, or Anakin asked Luke to take his mask off, and he said, "You'll die." He's like, "There's no stopping that now."
Right. I mean,
so
Luke took
he was
the
already
lightning.
dying from the lightning. He didn't take that much lightning.
Luke took a bunch of lightning. Not a bunch,
Yeah.
but Luke took multiple jolts.
But Palpatine was only trying to get him to fucking subdue. He wasn't trying to kill him. He wasn't trying to kill him.
That's kind of what I'm saying. I don't think Dooku was trying to kill Yoda. I think he was just like, "Here, handle this, old man." I don't think he was.
Maybe.
That was because it wasn't a very extended blast, right? Whereas Palpatine, when he tried to kill fuckers, it's an extended blast. He only did like a sharp jolt at Yoda just to see what he would react, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you look at, he didn't really, I guess, do anything to like fuck with Yoda and like hurt him. And then Obi-Wan, he knows about him. He thinks he can be a tool or a friend. He kind of he toughed him up a little bit, He could have fucked him up more, but he didn't. And then Luke, or not Luke, Anakin, who he has no idea about, who's a fucking crazy maniac trying to get him, he chopped that fucker's arm off quick. So I have to wonder if like that shows his level of respect for each of them individually.
Okay, fair enough.
Also, I think he was scared of Anakin.
Yeah.
I do believe I think that's also why he reacted so brashly. It's because when he was trying to fuck him up with those double lightsabers, I think he had to cut his arm off almost like, oh shit, we can't do this anymore.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, no, I think he started to sweat a little bit. I think that's also another reason why he did that. But yeah, his character is hard to dissect because his character was not confirmed, but a little written in. So I think that there's going to be gaps in some things that we just kind of have to take. But I think overall, I don't mind any of it. I think I have enough headcanon that to me, the whole movie feels great. But I want to get number 3 especially because number 3 I remember historically was my favorite, but that's because it was over the fucking top. But now that I'm rewatching, I'm able to appreciate a lot more of the drama.
Is Empire, and then number 3.
Oh, I'm just talking about the original trilogy by themselves, I guess.
Well, I'll go. I'm
talking about 1, 2, and 3.
I was just gonna say, give you my list right off the bat. It was Empire, 3, A New Hope.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to say fucking Phantom Menace, and then Return of the Jedi, and then this one's at the bottom. Actually, you know what? I might like this one more than Return of the Jedi. I might have to knock Return of the Jedi. I gotta rewatch the original trilogy, but
right.
I can only remember bad things of the Return of the Jedi right now. But I definitely think there's more that I did like, and I just am forgetting.
Right. I love this one, dude. So far, it's a little bit better than number 1, but not by much.
I wouldn't say that any of them are bad by any means.
No, not at all. The minimum I think you could give one of these is like a 6.5.
I wouldn't even give this one a 6.5. I think
I'm giving this one a fucking 8.
I'll give this one a 7.
Just because this shit is fucking good. Like where I gave number 1 a 7.5, I'll give it close to it.
You know what?
Give this one.
I'll give this one a 6.5.
What'd you give?
I did have a lot more complaints about this one than I really. They weren't really complaints. It was just like, I don't like the writing here. I don't like how the characters acted here.
Right. And that's important because if you don't buy into the drama, then you're not gonna like this movie.
Yeah.
Because this movie, that's what I love about it, was the drama. Because it was all the same Star Wars shit I loved from number 1, but better. Because it had the battles, it had the characters, it had the action, had the blasters, had the cool planets and all the dark side and Sith, and it had everything that number 1 had, but it had more drama. So I was like, fuck yeah, it's just almost strictly better.
We'll go with 6.5 for this one.
But either way, movie's fucking awesome. Go
Did
watch it.
we miss anything? What was the... No. Okay, not that I can think of.
Yeah, I'm good. I think we pretty much covered everything.
So yeah, remember, what did you always say about like and subscribe. yeah, hit all the buttons. We got our Patreon finally. It's all set up. Uh, tweaked it, and right now I'm still getting all the uncuts listed on for Patreon, and that's what I'm doing
Ooh,
right now. Yeah.
bigger,
Uh,
longer, uncut, too hot for YouTube.
ew. Uh, actually, I think I'm uploading one right now as we're speaking. I am
Hell yeah,
uploading one right now.
that's the best way to do it, right? Multitask.
Yeah. And yeah, episode 3's up now. Episode 4 is already edited, so is 5, and they'll be up. They're set to premiere next week.
Hell yeah, fucking
Except that
rolling.
I'm uploading the uncuts, and yeah. Our fucking first episode has the most views by fucking far. Episode the Fan Forsic has 14 views. It's been out literally a week after episode 1. Episode 1 has 1900 views.
I'm telling you, it's just bots. You wonder, right?
Maybe.
Also, Fan 46 sucks.
Yeah,
But
guarantee
not
no one wanted to
sucks.
see that.
That's the problem. She-Hulk sucks, but people want to hear why it sucks. They want the juice.
Yeah.
Whereas Fan 46 was just uneventful, and it just made a lot of mistakes, and like it was more
Yeah.
like mediocre than bad.
Mm-hmm.
And mediocre is the worst thing you could cover. You have to cover something that's good or something that's bad, because
Yeah.
if you cover something mediocre, you have nothing to talk about.
Okay.
But
All right. So that's a
anyway,
wrap.
love you guys. Always come back
Yeah.
and watch more videos, and yeah, all the good shit, man. And always watch movies with an open eye. You know, try and think critically about it. Don't just fucking
Wait,
bitch.
you don't watch movies blind? You get spoiled on everything?
No, I actually, yeah, sorry, I forgot. That's actually what you should be doing. Go into a movie blind, but go watch a YouTuber bitch about it first, and then tell everyone you hate the movie. That's the real
Yeah.
way to do it.
Exactly.